Okay, here we go again. This is the Gaslighter Chronicles. This episode's about Schneider, the insider, who is also a double agent or a rock spider. Now, what I think's happening, because I like to predict or preempt, or try and preempt. But again, now that I've said that, these turkeys are going to try and preempt my preempting. So I've been bullied by a bunch of internet bullies for probably about 3 years now. This bullying cartel, sadistic, mean human beings, very nasty stuff. Alrighty, so let's see what they're up to now. I'll probably do a sound check. That's new. He's going to play some music. Thank you, Schneider. Now, Schneider is Schneider is a 70-year-old dude. He's a Satanist, apparently. That's what this is here. 11 rules. But he changed that up, so it could be part of a scam. You got to be careful with these dudes, because part of the gaslighting is that they like creating a scenario to psychologically attack you. So it could be all a ruse. So caution, folks. Watch out for that.
I think I am touching and exposing the edges of a really big beautiful network, and they're looking right there.
Interesting. So this is from a session by a guy called Bobcast. I was intrigued by that. We'll just see where it plays out, though. You know, these guys like to think that they're cunning and clever.
The exact opposite of what they are, they're sexual predators, man.
Slippery little. Guess what, my friend? So this is actually, they've got a hold of one of my videos where I actually was ghosting their session. So it's a ghost of a ghost of a ghost. Okay, good. Let's rock and roll.
It's good, we have films and stuff.
So before he gets to it, I'll get in first, right? Because I haven't seen this video yet. It could be, and I might be wrong here, because sometimes these gaslighters will lead you down a bit of a garden path. But the story seems to be framed towards, so what I did, right, I did this, and it's well known, no problems, my wife knew I did it, etc. I've explained it in a number of videos. What happened was, there was a young 15-year-old dude that was hanging around our hangout, and he was an extremely intelligent kid. The first time he was in there, he just wanted to show off this car racing thing that he programmed, and he said, according to him, he did it in 4 weeks, and bloody impressive kid. Anyway, I had this brain, well, not a brain phase, but I had an idea, and it just happened to be at the same time, that when you give sex education to young people coming into maturity, what you should, it's a simple explanation. The first thing you do, and pay attention, because I don't think a pedophile would talk in these terms. What you do first is you ask them, do they know what true love is? And if they say they're not sure or they don't know, you explain to them what it is. Now, what it is the love that that child has for their parent, the parent has for the child has for the grandfather, husband has for the wife. And this kid, when I explained that to him, he got it straight away without a heartbeat. He knew exactly what I was talking about. So I then asked him, because he just hooked up with a young girl, I said, do you love her, right? And he said, yeah. And, you know, you may not believe it. I mean, I've got the kid's identity there. I mean, push comes to shove if it ever gets to a big issue. I'm not going to hassle him otherwise.
That's interesting. Sydney keeps flashing up this bloody Pope picture with the devil's horns and linking it to me. So I wonder what that's all about. I mean, I'm not a fan of religions at all. Jesus, I'm a huge fan of, but not the religious context. Sydney's more. That's more. I thought when he was flashing that up, it's his Satanist stuff that he's into. But maybe the guy's actually, you know, and again, this is profiling gaslighting, because that's exactly what the gaslighters do. So on the low end, they'll basically call you a liar by using a lie, and then down the track they'll say, "No, I never said that, and I saw that happen today." And then the other end, they do an elaborate style of a thing. But only Sydney could explain this. So what we need Sydney to do, Schneider, the spider, and there's a 7-year-old bloke that's doing all this shit. We need Sydney to explain what he's doing, because he's made this video. He's constructed all these components. Then we need to hear his answer, and then we need to say, well, why did you do it? He'll give some cock and bull story, and then we test whether that story is correct. Because the one thing about these rock spiders or these gaslighters is that they're always making up shit. That's their modus of operanda, whatever you say. So, Sydney, front up, step up. What am I thinking? The other thing, he doesn't come to mind at the moment. Oh, hello, viewer number one. That's probably Bulldog 101. He's like a dog with a bone, a puppy dog with a bone. This bulldog I just mentioned, he's the type of bloke. So he's a gaslighter. If you don't know what that is, look it up on the internet. He's probably maybe 50, 55, somewhere in that ballpark. So, you know, you got these old farts and they do this gaslighting, which is basically sadistic bullying on a psychological level. And so, that's what I meant to ask Schneider. He had something Jewish going on. So I reckon, see, it's starting to look like this might be a scam going on, this satanic stuff. So again, you can look at his website or his thing. If you click on that, it's got the 11 satanic rules. Wait. But perhaps he's Jewish, and maybe even the Persian Jew from, you know, the days of Babylon, from that sort of. I wonder. Who knows? Certainly a bit of an enigma. Still haven't worked out why a 7-year-old man would go around bullying people on the internet. I have some ideas, you know, but this is speculation. All right, let's see what else Sydney's been up to.
Push comes to shove. So he knew straight away what I was talking about. So then I went to the second part of the story, because there's only 2 parts to it. I said to him...
Oh, that's right. So what we're talking about now is, without thinking it through, I gave a 15-year-old kid a sex ed talk. Now, not sex, all right? He's on the internet, so my wife was sitting there. It's just that I thought it was a brilliant idea, and this kid is a special circumstance. Very extremely intelligent. The most intelligent kid I've ever come across. And not only intelligent, he's spiritually well connected because he knows what true love is. So I gave that talk. What happened, right? So that's the truth of the story. I can validate it with my wife. Push comes to shove, we can get a hold of the boy to come back. I don't want to do that, but we can. And he'd be 16 now. Hello, viewer number 2. But that's the truth of what happened. These guys have grabbed that information and they're trying desperately to make it look like pedophilia. Now, when you talk about pedophilia, well, we've got a video of one of these accusers, because this is what gaslighters are. They're accusers. They're not qualified, whatever, but they sit in judgment of people, and basically they spew out lies as part of their attack. And the feedback they get, the feedback loop they get, is this idea that they can control people. You'll quite often hear them say, I own you, or I'm more intelligent than you, or whatever. Unfortunate for these dudes, that's not the reality. That's a lie. So again, we've got a disconnect between, it's delusional, right? They make up fucking ideas in their head. That's how they operate, and they can't help themselves. So this Bulldog 101, he thinks in his head, nowhere else, not in reality, that he is a really intelligent dude and he can make people do whatever he wants them to do. And so does Schneider, I guess, because why else would you bother, you know? And the guy called Spazwold the Almighty, see, again, you got this ego signature to all of these types of behaviors that these people get themselves hooked in. So they say they own it, but the reality is, and I promise you this is the absolute truth, they're actually owned by their own egos. They can't fucking help themselves. They've got no control over any. Well, they get a shooter call because people they bully just sort of, you know, walk away from it. But not me. I want the truth. I want to get the truth out. And that's all, you know. Truth sets everyone free. All right, away we go.
Can you lie with your partner?
Oh, yeah. So what I said to the kid in this sex ed, right, 15-year-old boy, and that's the other thing these pricks do. They say 10 years, you know, they keep trying to make it look worse than what it actually is. So I said to the kid, I made sure that he understood it. And not too many people understand what true love means. This kid did. I'm not joking. I said that precedes any sexual activity. And then this is what I said about sexual activity. So so you can't hammer someone for saying true love and advice of true love before sex. There's no sexual context yet. But this part is the thing that you could have a crack at me on. Oh, just I'll add, I decided afterwards that I would not do that again because his father actually should do that talk. So I did make a mistake there. But I still think it was a good talk. You know, I don't back down from that. And if you want to charge me on that one, well, then tell me what's a fucking better way.
Explore each other's bodies, and I stopped at that. I left it at that.
That's correct too. And I thought that I'd actually, because the actual context is masturbation. You masturbate each other and then explore each other's bodies. And I thought, fucking hell, if I've done it, you know, if I said it that way, you know, these guys will make it worse. But my wife reminded me that I actually didn't do that. What I actually did is I just said explore each other's bodies. Now they're 15 years of age, so they'll know because they've probably masturbated. Most people do. Hello, viewer number 3. So they'll know. There's no need for me to get into that sort of detail. And that's it. That's what I did. These guys, and because I'm a truth speaker, I didn't deny it. These guys got hold of it, and then they gaslighted me because what they did is they took that story and turned it into pedophilia. And I think that's in response to this John May character, Bulldog 101. we've got a video of him actually asking boys to pull their penises out. So pot calling the kettle black is what's going on there. So that video is in my the Gaslighter Chronicles.
What it's about, though, I hope we're amongst adults. But what it's about is about masturbating each other because we know our own body.
Yeah. One thing you'll notice about me, my stories are always the same. They never vary. Well, unless I forget something or don't think.
You know, when I thought about it, I thought, wow, that works, I think that's a really good idea. Because, you know, it leads to, firstly, not having sex unless love is in place, and true love, not something else love. And secondarily, it's about learning from your partner, because as a male, you don't know the female body. You wouldn't have a clue where all the bits and buttons go. Same for a woman. She wouldn't know any of the hot spots. So by helping your partner explore your own body, you're going to...
What am I laughing at there? I'll see if I can remember. Okay, that might have been the wife wanting to have a word. Or Sydney, Schneider might be doing it, I don't know. Schneider, the rock spider. I'm talking, but the volume's not there, so what the? Hang on.
I would probably do it again. But this kid is exceptional, and he's exceptionally mature.
Doesn't that sound like somebody describing a grooming? Because when you listen to paedophiles like discuss the young boys they were molesting.
Yeah, now see what I'm saying? This is a guy when I meet someone with an ego, and particularly if they're bullying me, I give as good as I get. But what I do, and I'm very specific about this, I tease their ego. So I called this guy, his name on the internet is Chaswold the Almighty. As soon as I saw that, the first time I fucking saw it, because I wrote a book about empires, and the people that I've got to tag the great, they're a disaster for humanity. And so, and it's egoic based. And as soon as I saw this on this prick, I knew, I know what you're all about. You're an egotistical bastard. So what I do to tease him a little, I call him Spazwold the Almighty. And there's meaning even behind the spaz. So it's not a go at, the spastic condition. It's a go at him subtly because he's got such an ego, and he identifies his ego with intellect. So he thinks he knows a lot about stuff. But if you actually dig into what he knows, it's pretty bloody pathetic, And he really, the things that he holds to be true, based on, hello, viewer number 4, the things that he holds to be true, aren't necessarily true. So he doesn't really get into the depth behind it. That's not the way I roll. I want to know how something works in reality. So let's see what Spazwold the Almighty, the great and wondrous Spazwold, has to say here. And I'll pick it apart if I find any errors.
The young boys were mature for their age,
Yeah.
They were just like adults.
Yeah.
Notice what they did then, and this is gaslighting. He said the young boys. But if you listen to what I said, it was only one instance. And if you think I'm wrong, my wife can validate it. It only happened once. And I thought about it afterwards, and I still think it's a great idea and it's a great way to sex ed, but it only happened once, and I stopped it immediately because it should have been his father. But again, there was a special set of circumstances. This was an exceptional young man. Exceptionally. And so this kid, I used to watch him bloody run rings around adults like these people. I'm not kidding. They had no hope in hell of handling him. And these folks, these idiots think that they can control stuff. They can't even control themselves. They're like loose cannons. Anyway, let's see what the Spazwold the Almighty has to say now.
Extremely intelligent.
You were trying to, help them find themselves.
No, you fuckwit. Sex ed, that's all. It's simple. I had an idea on how to do efficient sex ed, and I told the kid. And I won't do it again. Although I still say time and time again, I think it's worth thinking about as a model. I really do. That was Schneider. Schneider the spider.
You were there to usher them into manhood.
No. It was just circumstance. I had the idea at that moment. The kid was around. He was talking about his relationship. So I thought, my thinking was, if I tell him, he's going to be off on the right foot. That's all I was thinking about. So I was really compassionate and caring for him and his new partner, and he really loved this girl at 15, You fuckers, you probably don't know what true love is.
I want to go back a bit because this guy just buries himself.
Really? So what's that mean? I go out in the yard, grab a shovel, and I dig a hole, and I jump in it? Or is it something else, Schneider?
What did you see him today? He wasn't doing Rob's house, Rob's rolls. It wasn't, I'm going to sit in my hangout with no interaction.
No, he jumped into Bobcast, and this is what he said. This is today.
This is correct. This happened today. Now, I deliberately, behave in this manner. So, because I want to make sure the voice is heard. One of the problems in a gaslighting room, if you go into it and these bullies are at work, they won't allow you to interrogate them and their story, right? And they just talk over and over and over, and that becomes a game to them, right? So we're going to probably hear a bit of that. But, I was fully in control, so don't worry about that, Schneider. Yes, spider.
He was white knighting Claire.
What's white knighting? I don't know what that means. So I definitely was supporting this Claire lady. Claire was brilliant. Oh my goodness, one of the best bloody anti-gaslighters I've ever come across. With this Claire, to show you how often they do the same shit. There's a girl, and they called her a pedophile. To beta, and she just slaps him around left, right, and centre. So I hope we get to hear about that, and I'll try and break it apart because again, the devil's in the detail, right, Schneider? So the devil's in the detail. But this girl, I promise you, Claire. She was just brilliant. They had no show against her.
In there.
And Tom?
Yeah, Tom was there. Tom's a lovely bloke that these guys bully. So just go and Google Tom the Haters, Tom versus the Haters, and you'll see these boys at work. Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff out there. And if you can't find it, email me or whatever, or find my account. So my account's the Good Wolf. Find me, and what I'll do is I'll get you a copy of it and show you, what gaslighting is and what 70-year-old morons do to fucking amuse themselves.
White knighting Claire and Tom, I think.
Yeah, well, if you mean supporting them, That's exactly what I do. If you're a good person, you get my support. If you fucking lie, you won't get my support.
No, when was this one? Okay. This was, 14 hours ago.
Oh, really? I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, the hangout's still going on.
That same hangout's still going on, isn't it? All right,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Blah, 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 blah.
Transmitting that.
Okay, so it's this. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Ah, now. Right. So these boys, through Benny's the gangster. I'm gonna call him Benny the prankster. What he does, he's tied in with these pricks, and what he does, he gets into a room and he streams the room across to these dudes, which is not appropriate. The only thing that should occur when you go to a hangout, A, you shouldn't be able to be sniped. Google, listen up. And B, you shouldn't be able. Whoa, who was that? B, you shouldn't be able to be sniped, and you shouldn't be able to stream. So what you end up with, so we're looking at a simple model, right? Simple model says that we can have a hangout off air with just friends, but if we choose to go online, we go online, and that's the only vehicle that gets to see our conversation. This sniping and this streaming should be, taken out of the model. So this Romo, so his name's Benny the gangster. I'm going to call him Romo the prankster.
But I was just wanted to get this out there.
So it's sort of like perving. Oh, hello, viewer number 4. It's like, old farts sitting in the back room perving on other people. When you, particularly if you've got an off-air, because these pricks can actually get into the off-air stuff. That should be private. See you, viewer number 4.
He knew straight away what I was talking about. So then I went to the second part of the story, because there's only 2 parts of it. I said to him, when you lie with your partner, explore each other's bodies, and I stopped at that.
You just did this, Schneider. What are you looking for? Let's see.
What it's about, though,
that's not what he said before.
Oh, there's lots. I got lots.
I fucking did. Hello, viewer number 4. That's exactly what I said. I say the same thing over and over again. And again, my wife can validate this. You pricks can't, because you weren't there. The only reason you know anything about that is because I don't lie. And I spoke about it. I said what I was going to do, and I did it. And then you asked me after if I did what I did, and I said what I did. Here's the problem, boyos. You took that truth. Hello, viewer number 5. You took that truth and you gaslit me. Right? It's not pedophilia. Go and look at the John May video. That's more like pedophilia.
We know our own bodies. When I thought about it, wow, that works, I think. That's a really good idea.
That's a fucking replay of before. And then these pricks just, they slip in a subtle lie. They say, oh, it's different. No, it's the same tape.
He's got the idea of mutual masturbation.
Exactly. So what are you going to say next?
Yeah, but I didn't say it to the boy. Get it fucking right.
Right. Now this guy's he claims to be what enlightened?
Correct. That's correct. And I don't step down for that. And the only way that you can prove me wrong, Sydney, Schneider, is use your Kabbalah, use whatever you fucking like. But I'll give you my definition of what enlightened means, and then you give me yours, and I'll show you. I'll bet you I can show where yours is wrong. I'll bet you.
Well, he claims originally that he had magical Asperger's.
They're going back over old ground here, and they like to dig it up. So what happened here? Got to keep telling it. Went to a course. On the course, they showed an Asperger's film because they wanted to educate the people on the course about that, so that you at least you had empathy or understanding for that condition. And I looked at it and I thought, fuck me, some of that relates to me. And with that, I came again, truth talker. I told these pricks because I didn't think that they'd do anything with it. But they turn it into some other story. So let's just see how Spazwold tells that simple tale.
Has now since revised that to because he's read the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Jesus.
Well, no, I call it the Gospel of Jesus because if you actually go and look at the Gospel of Thomas, it's just Jesus' teachings. So it should rightly be called the Gospel of Jesus as recorded by Thomas. Good to see, Spazwold, that you're paying some attention.
He really is, and because he's interpreted it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. And I can go through every fucking saying, the whole 114, and I can tell you exactly what they mean, and then I'm happy to have you debate with me to see whether I'm right or wrong. But what I have to deal with is people that don't or have an egoic mind or model. But I promise you, I know them all. I know them all. I'm sort of hesitating there because one or two I'm still uncertain of.
Using his senses, but not his mind in any way.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yes. So our senses, why we have fucking senses is to get data on board to the mind. How do we examine and test reality? We use our senses. That's the scientific model, right? We don't use our brains like these clowns do with logic and all that sort of crap, because it's prone to error. Our senses, particularly when we use multiple people senses, validate reality. And it isn't any more complicated than that. These pricks think it is, but they're wrong.
Your audio is not so good, by the way.
Fix your audio, Spazwold.
Your audio is not so great.
Oh, I'll
and your intelligence is pretty ordinary. Well, that's actually quite nice. Not even because Spazwold, when he gets talking, he just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Or put it on audio only. I won't be able to see your gorgeous face.
That's fine.
What little
Oh, maybe he's gay.
When you show on camera these days because you wear that hat, it's like that's like 9/10 of your face's hat.
His hat, yeah. Well, it's part image and part the weather. It's the weather.
Ah, so you got an ego, Schneider.
And you're from South Africa. You used to warmer climes.
I just love the cold when I'm bundled up. I'm used to camping, and this is camping at home.
Sorry, you used to be in camp, or you used to camping?
No, I like when I'm camping. It's cold.
Is it a row of intense?
Yes, at night when you're camping, it's cold. You bundle up.
One blanket under you is worth two over you.
No, sleeping bag, buddy. Sleeping bag.
Yeah, but for every layer you put underneath yourself, it's worth actually the same as if you put two layers over you.
That's what I'd love to see, a debate between Spazwold and Schneider. I reckon they'd be tearing each other's hair out before too long.
Yourself, because most of your heat is lost through conduction to the ground when you camping.
It's all right. Oh, thank you. Let me make a note of that. Well,
in other words, back off. Keep your ideas to yourself.
Let's listen to more of Beasley.
That's one of those little rules of thumb with survival. Blanket under you is worth two over you.
Yeah, see, there's a subtle thing, but Spazwold there, he wants to look, I know, showing off his knowledge. It doesn't work that way, Spazwold. You bring knowledge when it's required. It's not about showing off.
Oh, okay. Let's see what Beasley has to say.
Yes, Schneider wants to get back on point.
Learning from your partner, because as a male, you don't know the female body. You have a clue where it's about to go. Same for a woman. She would know any of the hot spots. So by helping your partner explore your own body, you're going to get an outcome that leads to probably a good basis for sexual activity. So that's it. That's all it is. And me being me, I told people in the community that that's what I did. These guys grabbed a hold of that, the ones that have been bullying me all the time, they saw that as a great opportunity to bully me further. So what they did is they turned that story, right, a said thought of basically two short sentences and turned that into sexual relationship. Now, since that point, I had a bit of a think, and I don't get, I mean, if I decided that it was an appropriate thing to do, I would probably do it again. But this kid was exceptional, and he's exceptionally mature. That's why I had no hesitation with him. But you know, afterwards, I thought, no, I shouldn't have done that. That's his father's role.
But that's the only reason. You know, it should be a father's role, not, you know, you shouldn't tread on those toes. But again, I'll emphasise it 1,000 times, this kid was exceptional for a young person of 15. And I'll say it again too. I wish he was around. I mean, I know what his account is, but I wish he was around just to get him in a room with these nongs. And I promise you, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just leave him to it. He would eat these boys alive. Absolutely eat them alive, intellectually.
From that point forward, I decided I would never do that again. The only thing that I'd like to do is talk up with other people. Just over there. Is it a good idea or not? Because I think it is. It's really basically simple. I think it's covered off most. Let's face it, there's no really. So I'm wondering now. I'm wondering where these boys will take this story, because the profile so far, there's little subtles in there, seem to be. So they start off with pedophilia, but then they include at the end out of moral standards. That's me. While I talk about morality, spirituality. Out of moral standards.
Oh, Rob's loads of snipe hangouts now, by the way.
Whoops, hang on. Bit loud. Away you go, Spazwold.
Wasted name.
Yeah, we're not invited into this one. Just you're the only one with the link.
Mm.
So good luck to Rob sniping this one.
Oh.
So now what they're doing is they're trying to suggest that I'm a sniper. Now, I haven't sniped until yesterday, when some trolls, basically at a key point in a discussion that I think was going live, sniped me. And so, no, hang on, wait a minute, sorry. Well, they didn't snipe me. I left because I knew what was going on. Oh, I know what they did. They muted me and they wouldn't allow me to have a voice to defend the position. So I said, all right, well, if you're going to be like that, if you're going to use that sort of censorship, that's unfair. So I sniped a couple of them, mainly the guy that was running it. It had nothing to do with these guys. And that's the only time I've ever done it. And I mean, if people conduct themselves properly, there's no case for it at all. But people that gaslight don't conduct them. I mean, to give you an example, there's a woman that we come across today, Godless, a lady by the name of Godless. Fucking hell, nightmare. A young person, bloody nightmare she is, in terms of having a discussion. And she blurted out, like Bulldog blurts out, I own you, you know, I'm in control here. That's what these people do. It's, you know, it's the ego on display.
He won't be able to snipe this one, but
No.
I'm just saying he has started sniping hangouts.
That's fine. That's okay.
Started doing recently.
Good for him. He's only about 2 months behind or 3 months behind, but you know, he's a little slow.
Well, but
I'm actually quite intelligent, I think, although I don't worry about that too much. It's not anything that concerns me. I just use my my facilities to meet a need. I don't think these boys like it. So that reference there, he's a bit slow. That's actually sniping. Sorry, not sniping. Sniping, it's Schneider. It's gaslighting, is what he's doing. They tell him mistruth.
he told him how to do it, I think. When he was
Oh, I told Benny he was an enabler, and he said, no, no, I'm not.
Oh, of course he is.
Damn. So, this is I'm starting a series of Beasley monologues, Beasley discussions, chunks like this.
Oh, I'm going to be putting up a video soon. I've got a load of the raw footage. I've taken like a load of it, like some of his last load of hangs.
Yeah.
4 of them. And I'm going to be chopping them up and putting them together in a montage.
Oh,
So,
beautiful.
Now, hold it. Some subtle stuff again. Notice Spazwold put that cough through. That cough, so he smokes, which he shouldn't, but that cough occurs at key points where he's lying. I promise you, observe this dude. Anytime he coughs, listen to what he's saying. I'll bet you anything it'll be at a point of lying. So like, you know, when people touch their nose, I think it's the right side of the nose, or it might even be just touching the face. But I got other cues to work out if someone's lying. So, all right, Spazwold, off you go.
I'll send you the link to that when I upload that.
Right, so these guys are gonna, you know, probably try and maybe the plan is to tire me out, you know, running one after another. I'm sort of probably at the point where I don't need any more material. It's sort of like if I want to prove something, you know, I only need to go to 1 or 2 videos, and it becomes very obvious because these blokes, once you explain it and people get, yeah, I agree, they can see the liar. Because don't forget, it's humans watching, and this is a human condition, and we know ourselves, or we should know ourselves better. It becomes very obvious what the hell's going on, you know, and so I don't need to do a lot of work now, so I'll watch them for amusement, but maybe I'll just start, you know, stop doing all these long bloody videos.
It's going to take me a couple of days though to get a chance to go through all the
Oh, I've got so much I can just turn to and just basically start broadcasting and what basically.
Me too, Sydney. I've got a shitload. It's in my channel. I don't have to broadcast it. If someone disputes what I say or thinks I'm wrong, I'll just pick out one and I'll show that you bunch of fucking liars.
The guy gets a bigger shovel every time he opens his mouth.
Really? Let's talk about anything at all. I've got no secrets. Let's talk about anything that you say or you think is me digging a hole for myself. And let's do it in an open forum, an open debate that's moderated, which means I get to talk, you get to talk, and we make sure that both parties gives their evidence. And here's what I'm willing to bet you, Schneider, you spider. I'm willing to bet you that you'll be seen as a liar and I won't be. Now, we'll pick topics that are I think we'll pick the videos. I think we'll pick the videos as the topic. Maybe we'll just go with the haters video. Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, of course.
He digs himself a bigger hole.
Well,
Yeah. I ain't digging any holes.
there's a guy called James in that bot hangout who was adamantly defending Beasley, and you were there.
Yeah.
And they were saying that he'd get sick of him.
And he said no, he wouldn't.
Well, actually, Schneider, go and talk to the lad, because I went round when you pricks weren't there and I had another chat to him. And go and have a chat to him now and see what he thinks, you silly old fart.
He did.
He did he? Oh, wow. James. That was James Baldwin, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, good of you to take notes. You mess with that kid, I'm going to mess with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he jumped right on my ass as soon as I walked in there. As soon as I
Yeah. Schneider. I said, here comes Schneider the spider. What's wrong with that?
did that hangout. I have no idea why. He doesn't know who the hell I am.
That is an easy lie to fucking go to the pricks. Well, no, go to my channel and you'll see all these videos, right? And I talk about this dude. He's trying to say, I don't know who he is. He always tries to this bullshit bloody stuff about trying to keep the low profile and out of the scene and whatnot. Then go to his bloody channel and you'll see a shitload of stuff on me. So he's just full of crap, this dirty old man.
Oh, I think he's just out to try and fight the world.
Those are
No. That would be fucking a waste of time. No, I fight for truth, justice, and the American way. No, joke. I fight for truth, though. I do, you know. And if you're going to bully me, gaslight me, and you know, I end up in a psych ward because of that behaviour, and that's just my view. I've got to check that out with the doctors when I go back this week or next week. Oh, well, if you do that to me, you're gonna get me in your face, but it's not me in your face really, because these guys just keep. As soon as I appear, they start their usual psychological warfare. So they put up something, I respond to it, because I know if I go into the room, they're just going to talk over me, and my point won't get heard. And then you get frustrated, and then they say, look, he's having a manic attack or whatever. No, it's not a manic attack. It's just frustration. But you won't ever frustrate me again. Ever. Try it. See how you get on. All right. Oh, bit of a wicked cackle there. I cackle a lot too.
Dangerous person if Beasley gets him on side, because he will enable Beasley and he will repeat all the same stuff. Everyone's picking on me, everyone's bullying me.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of ignoring or shunning Benny right now for doing that.
That's bullshit. That Romo, the prankster, Benny, he's a sly little bugger. He's no good at all. So he used to, right over the 3-year period, he used to come Skype me and we'd chat away for hours and we'd do hangouts and all of the rest of it. And all the while, the prick's shopping me out to these dudes.
Because it's one thing for Rob to go off on his own, right? But it's another thing for Rob to be prodded along by Benny.
Yeah, I find that funny because he's just trying to. It's a gaslighter again. He's trying to, because he knows that I'm watching this. I know that he knows that I know that, you know how it goes. So, what he's trying to suggest that Benny's the controller in all this. No, never was. The only reason that I tolerated Benny's sniping or you know, his bad behaviour is because I liked the dude. Well, actually, I love everybody, but I just thought he might come around, but it's got to the point now, and I'll catch up with him after this is all over. But it's got to the point where I can't harbour, I cannot tolerate people that are going to let me down. I'd rather do it on my own. So I pissed Benny off. Romo the prankster.
I think that's
Of course,
dishonest.
but you've got to wonder, did Rob come back and want to start arguing us because Rob was having a manic?
No. I came back for the truth. I don't initiate anything. Oh, sorry, there's a couple of videos that I made, but they're still reacting. Everything I do is reacting to their behaviours. Everything. So that's all bullshit. So they're just trying to frame it, bias it towards their position. You bunch of gaslighters.
No, I
you wanted to indulge that, or do you think Benny?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I think Benny played Rob into the mindset, because I was
never. See, the one thing about being enlightened, and all right, fuck, you don't believe me, that's your problem, is that you are your own master or your own boss. You think that's bizarre? Well, you're crazy, but think about this. In religions and in spirituality, what do they say time and time again? Know thyself. To be enlightened, you must know thyself. You have to understand what that means. I do. So yeah.
It's kind of watching Benny.
So Benny, he might have even thought himself that he was manipulating me, right? But he wasn't. I was allowing, or I was going along with things, and I did trust the dude, right? So, to trust people, that you can get burnt. But he did it, and I'd given him fair warning. So I'm not the type of person that'll just kick you in the nuts. I'll tell you what my issue is, and I'll expect you to address it. And if you choose not to, and you still hurt people, well, then I'm not interested in spending any more time with you. So Homo the prankster, or Romo the prankster, Benny, aka Benny, he's now back with this crew, and he can just stay there. And if I can get the truth out of him, then I'll have a chat to him.
You put them up, right? And he would be talking to Raoul.
So notice the devil's in the detail. These little pauses. He's going to his mind, right, to create this fucking story in his head. Now that is delusional behaviour. 100% delusional. These pricks, with all their lying, they've got so much delusional stuff going on. And that's like feeding the bad wolf, the ego.
Rob would be talking about, that he's back. And
yeah, I'm back.
Benny would write in his little ball, well, what about Bulldog? You remember Bulldog? You remember Sugar? You remember Chaz? You remember Sydney? You remember?
Yeah, but what happened is they found me. I didn't go hunting for them. Although I might have to a couple of them just gone, hello, I'm back. And then that was enough to start them off again. Because I'll be black and white. I want these people to tell the truth. And I will settle for fucking nothing less. And I want them to do it publicly. So, name and shame. But beyond that, they're winners then. I promise you. They're better people for it. And the bloody internet's a better place.
And every time, Rose, and every time he mentioned somebody, he would get riled up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
I do certainly. I'm a good actor, I think. Perhaps I should get into acting. But I'm around because I learnt stuff from the first 2 times with these pricks. This time around, I haven't been riled once. I'm actually quite calm. And the other thing, I'm actually having a lot of fun. I'm finding this, you know, the term I use is fizzing, right? So it's where truth and lies get entangled. And, you know, I just find, and it's reaffirming to my spiritual, the teachings from Jesus. It's reaffirming what, that was father-in-law. It's reaffirming, you know, the teachings. It just is. So it's, you know, it's a great time to be alive.
But now he's back. So it's
You
really...
actually paid for his book, didn't you?
Yes.
Thank you, Sydney. I didn't get many sales, but I appreciate anyone I get.
See, I, like everybody else, read it for free.
Oh, you bastard. Fucking hell. That took me 2 years plus about 18 years prior. And this prick just reads it for free. Ain't that, you know. But the other thing is, we've never had a debate to test. Oh, sorry. Sydney says, it blurts out, he says, I've read the book. I said, Sydney, what's the corruptions 1 through 5, which is a cornerstone of the book. It's in the middle part. And of course, Sydney couldn't tell me because he's a lying bastard. Chaswell says he's read it, but, and Chaswell being an opinionated prick that he is, he hasn't come to debate me to see whether he, you know, what his understanding is. And I won't even entertain that debate because he's just wasted too much time. But when this is finished, I'll more than happily do that. And then I'll ask for a contribution for fucking being wrong. And also, you know, because, you know, 2 years of your life's a fair bit of fucking time. And, you know, it takes a bit of work.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you're the only person I know who paid for his book. And how does he treat you?
Well, he certainly doesn't treat me like a customer, that's for sure.
Well, no, there's a reason, Sydney Schneider. You're a 70-year-old prick who finds fun or gets his kicks out of manipulating immature or young people, you know, with this gaslighting attack. You think that's amusing. If you think I'm wrong there, Schneider, all we got to do is look at the videos. The Tomato Haters video shows you in full flight, you scumbag. So that's the reason I have issue with you. If you tell the truth, I'll have no issue with you. But if you lie, I have an issue.
I know, maybe you should ask for a refund.
No.
I probably didn't even get the bloody money myself. It's only $4 for crying out loud. $4 for enlightenment. That's a cheap deal. Given that enlightenment is the ultimate thing to achieve in a human's lifetime. And you, Sydney, you only get one crack at it of life, and your time is running out. So you can go to your grave, you know, as an egotistical bastard, or maybe you read it again.
No. Chaswell, I am an ethical person, unlike Rob.
Watch the haters video. Fucking pathological lies.
Beasley.
Well, it'd be perfectly morally justifiable that, you know, you don't wish to support this company.
No, I would.
Financially.
I would if he wasn't financially strapped and you know, I just don't want to. Why would I pour salt on a wound already? You know, he's already dug his grave.
No wounds here, Schneider. I'm not materially concerned like you are.
I'm good with that. I'm not gonna go stoop down to his level.
Well, stooping down to my level, mate. I'm hanging out with Jesus, or at least he was the teacher, and I follow it. And as far as I can tell, it all works. Oh, hang on. He might be Jewish. He might have an objection to that.
Paid for it. You can go and review it if you like.
Oh, I'm gonna baby, am I gonna review it?
You're gonna review it, right? So that means that you haven't read it, which is what I just bloody said. You're a liar, Schneider. The spider.
Review.
Well, no, we're going to be doing a live review. I'm going to have it on the thing. And he bragged that he called me that I wasn't reading his book because he asked me something from the book and I didn't answer.
Yeah, he'll ask you something obscure. That's not
Yeah. So we're going to go and we're going to.
Got to correct him again. Devil's in the detail. Something obscure, right? It's not obscure. If you read the book, the 5 corruptions stages are a major part. They're the second part of the book. So I first explore what is this thing called God and what is this thing called evil, that sort of stuff. Deal with that. Then take that knowledge through a study of history, 900 years of history, highlighting five corruptions that occurred that have fucked us all over, with these bloody religions. So I know specifically why our religions are flawed. So you see how they subtly change it up, because it's rat cunning, because they know the audience don't have anything about the book, so they're in a position in their mind of authority. But I wrote the book, so I can, and we're losing the viewers. I wrote the book. I know the truth. Idiots.
Talk about what it is that that I was supposed to have remembered, and we're going to have a fucking good laugh at it. A fucking good.
Well, that means that's funny too. It means now, because I promise you, he hasn't read it. Because what he did last year, he just did what he thought he needed to do to discredit me and then fucking move on. Because I throw some stuff in there about Nostradamus, which he used. And that's a discussion in its own right. I don't really get into that now. I mean, I'd be happy to talk about it, but not now. But he uses that to discredit. Hello, viewers, number 4. So they're coming in and out. So 100%, this guy hadn't read it. So he must have had to. He's got to go and scurry and read it, because there's a big chunk of the book. So it'll be interesting, his review. And what I'll do is I'll do what I'm doing now. I'll shadow the review, and I'll tear his position to pieces. Why? Because I wrote the book. I'm in the strongest position in terms of what the book's about and what the hello, Hakeem. So what the book's about. So he's not going to fare well. I'm willing to bet he doesn't even do it, just between you and me. Because why? He's a coward. He's a liar. And he doesn't want to give up that much time of his time. Schneider, yes, Spider.
Guffaw.
You couldn't remember what the 4th of the 5th corruptions was.
No, he couldn't remember any of them. I said, what are the 5 corruptions? Well, I think I said 5 thingies. Though anyone who reads the book would know straight away, bang, oh, you're talking about the 5 corruptions. So you're a liar, Schneider.
Didn't give a fuck what any of them were, to be honest with you.
Well, hang on. You're supposed to have read the book. So, and you call it shit, right? So are you being a little unfair here, Schneider? I think you are.
And I didn't remember them on purpose.
Particularly being Jewish, he wouldn't forget them, I promise you. You liar, Schneider.
It was like the last thing in the whole world that I would ever need to remember would be those 5 corruptions. And
well, but hang on, at the moment, he's trying to project that he knows about the 5 corruptions. But when asked, when put on the place, he couldn't remember anything about them. But now he does. This is just ridiculous. Delusional behavior. Absolutely delusional. I think these videos, I should consider selling them. There's a whole lot of applications that come to mind of how you can sort of learn to read people and learn to pick up on cues of behaviors and stop the crap in our world. Yeah.
why would I? So for him to,
So he said, why would I? Well, because that's the way your fucking mind works. Information on board doesn't. Where's the exit for information on board? What's the vehicle? So your eyes pick up the data and it comes into your brain, right? And the brain's a data store. We use memory, etc. Where's the fucking place where it actually goes out? Is that the nose or the mouth? You idiot.
say, oh, he hasn't read his book because he couldn't remember the 5 corruptions. He's not a fucking school teacher. What's that?
Have you read the Amazon?
This is what I call ass covering, right? So what he's trying to do, I've called him out. This is his effort to try and get on top of that, the fact that he's been caught out. But you can see that he's really fucking doing a poor job. He's very poor. Why? Because he's lying. Sorry, he's lying. That's the problem here. When you tell the truth, it's easy. Life's a soda. You just say what fucking happened.
Reviews.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
Is that a nervous, girly laugh?
Do you know what makes me chuckle? Right?
What?
He's trying to say that we sent him into the mental home. Yeah.
I thought they'd get around to that. I actually hold this view that the gaslighting was, we know for a fact that the gaslighting event occurred as a precursor for me being diagnosed bipolar. And a stay of 19 days, right? 19 days in a healthcare scenario. That's all documented. It's all very clear. There's no drama there. But one thing the docs didn't do, and I never thought of it at the time, was there a relation or a correlation or a precursor event that hello, viewer number 4. Excuse me. Was there a precursor event that could have led to the diagnosis of bipolar? I think there was. That's my position. I'm going to check it out with the psychs. Because when you look up gaslighting, it actually says that it's a psychological attack. So already we're starting to, make some connections here. Went down the wrong way.
Yes.
And he doesn't believe he has bipolar because he thinks, obviously, that
I never did. And what they don't mention, there was actually an appeal hearing at the end of the 19 days. I actually won. I was able to go home under my own mental or medical management. And if I chose to, they said this, I could get rid of the lithium that they give you. Excuse me. I might have to finish this. I think never breather.
Burned him up to the point where he looks crazy. He is crazy.
So even that's a subtlety, right? Is it good and healthy that humans sit there and laugh at someone else and call them crazy? Is it? Is that normal, mature behaviour from the panel of accusers that aren't qualified people to do the accusations? I mean, come on, folks, wake up. How long does it take? This is very, 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 very bad behaviour.
But when you
The old fart's having a bit of a laugh.
you read this book, right?
Yes.
It was like, how does this Rwandan thing
Yeah.
actually? He always brings up the Rwandan thing.
That's how.
Yeah, I do. So what that's about, and it's a fact. Look it up. 1994 Rwandan massacre. That was the thing that triggered me to, because growing up, Mum took me to church around about 7 and was explaining the religious context, and I just said, well, fuck, I can't see these beings. This is not for me. And she couldn't get me back in that place for hell or high water. Now, so I gave up on religion and spirituality and all that sort of crap. Oh no, I explored spirituality a little bit, but I'd given up on religion. That was just not for me. And until this Rwandan massacre, where 800,000 people slashed themselves to pieces. So normal families could have been my family and an ordinary family next door, but in the African context, but still ordinary folk are killing themselves with these fucking machetes. Absolutely horrific it was. So at that point, and I'm a determined bugger, at that point I said, I want to know why that happened. And I eventually found out what happened. It was a guy called, what's his name? Bismarck. Called together the bloody royals. So this is the royal community, kings and queens and whatnot in Europe. And the pricks got together and they did what's called the Scramble on Africa. So if you go look that up, you'll find that that's true as well. In that process, what they did is it was a divide and conquer sort of maneuver. They got they spoiled one of the communities, gave them sort of better treatment. And then the other side, they treated them like shit, which got some angst between the two communities, Tutsis and Tutsis or whatever. And so that was the catalyst that saw them kill each other. And that fits the model of behavior that we see with this, with the Jesus teaching. It can help explain that. And so can the good wolf story or the two wolf story. So that's why I tell it, because that's what fucking happened. And then I came across the Gospel of Thomas, read it, and this is the Gnostic Jesus or atheist Jesus. I read that and it made spiritual sense to me. So I wanted to then know why they fucking rejected it, the Christians. So that then took me back up to Cyrus the Great, and then I followed the story all the way through. So that's the short version.
The book starts, by the way.
I went on his Scribed page, and
yeah, that was me. I created a Scribe page
where you can read his book for free.
Right.
Ah, that's where you got it from, you bugger. Well, I hope you write a book one day and you get nothing for it. But look at me. I don't worry about it. I got to really understand humanity through the exercise. So I'm happy with that. Well, and I want to sort of try and make some use of that experience and knowledge.
And I went to I typed in the word, obviously, Rwanda, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
To see how many times the word Rwanda gets mentioned. It's 5 times.
Well, that's enough. It's just a massacre. Go Google it if you fucking want to learn more.
The first time he goes, my generation, like so many before it, was witnessing to the sheer horrors inflicted by humans upon each other. The Rwandan massacre of 1949 wiped out 20% of a nation in what seemed like a weekend.
Correct. Now, the one thing with Baswold is that you'll cherry pick, which is a bit unfair. When if you're going to do an assessment, fucking read the whole damn thing. And he's trying to cherry pick on a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda is that he's egotistical. He likes to think he's an intellectual, and he's also a gaslighter. So all those elements he has to protect. Egos, lies, protect the ego.
And then the next 3 are just the wiki link that is posted in the book.
Yeah, and I use wiki extensively. I absolutely love that bloody Wikipedia. And these pricks and you'll also get it in academic circles, they'll trash talk it. But it's the most phenomenal way of fucking getting your head around a lot of information really quickly. And, you got links off there everywhere. And if you check it out, it rates as well as Britannica as a resource. So, again, a lot of bullshit in this world.
A bit that says the Rwandan then a bit describing what is in that link.
I think we're going to dig down into these links, every single one of them.
Good, good, absolutely. And hey, while you're there, have a look at the fucking footnotes. They go to real books, dickheads. I mean, golly gosh. You know, the ineptitude that's going on here, and it's all because of fucking ego.
This book's going to get so reviewed, you got no idea.
Well, good. I like that.
And then it says, as I mentioned previously, after a load of text about Nag Hammadi and Nostradamus'
Nagamadi.
Quatrain 14, it says...
That's the Nostradamus stuff. Well, I can explain that too. So what I did is I debunked prophecy in the Bible. So if you ask me if prophecy is real, I'll say fucking 100% no. And here's why. But the thing is, I couldn't debunk bloody Nostradamus. I honestly couldn't. And there were some things in it, and I don't believe in it. Well, I don't understand it. I don't care about it. It means nothing in terms of reality. But I found about 20, I think, quatrains, and I thought, fucking hell, if I'm writing this book, then is he writing these predictions? Because my research shows that the three Abrahamic religions should be pissed off. And Jesus, the real stuff, the Gnostic stuff, should replace them. And that would be great for humanity. There's actually a fucking quatrain that says exactly that. So I thought, whoa, that's spooky. But I have no way of understanding. Oh, the only thing I thought of, because I think it was Plato or Socrates, they said that the enlightened ones are the masters of all time. When I saw that, I thought, well, hang on a minute. The now is where it's at. Oh, maybe he's referring to that. Yeah, maybe that's it. But I was thinking of time in a different perspective. It's like it stacks on top of itself. You know, it's like time is a constant and events happen on top of one another. And maybe there's some way of accessing that. So it's not something that I followed up on, but anyway, that's why it's in the book, because I couldn't explain prophecy. I thought I'll just put it in there, and maybe someone reading the book might know a bit more than I do about that. But it's not something that I really care too much about. For me, life's about living in the moment, in the now.
The Rwanda massacre launched me into this quest to understand why humanity was continually failing to find a way to live peacefully. And rather than looking, obviously, economic and social and political theories and, you know, maybe have a little look at a bit of neuroscience, neuropsychology.
Stick all that shit up your ass. The answer to peace is very simple. You love thy neighbour, that gives you mental peace. And if everyone's doing that, we have fucking world peace. Bingo, bongo, end of discussion. You know, you can think all you like and you can fucking study, but have a look at the world. The egoic mind is not the answer. The answer is specifically embracing and applying authentically the love thy neighbour concept. Think that's a narrow-minded idea? Go and have a look at any number of religious things, and they will tell you what a golden rule is. The golden rule is love thy neighbour. That's it. Fixes shitloads of problems. But we have environmental problems, which I don't know whether we're going to be able to fix.
And all of that. I just decided to go on Wikipedia and read about Nostradamus. Because he said that I was 40 at the time of this tragic and brutal act of genocide.
Correct.
And my quest coincided with an interest in that age-old question, what is life's meaning or purpose?
Well, the answer to that question is a simple one as well. Life is about survival. That's why these two instincts are what causes or are the good wolves, if you like. And the meaning of life is found in true love. What is true love? love thy neighbor. That's exactly what true love is. So when you live that way, it gives you your life meaning, because that's the way we are made as humans. So it's not necessarily a spiritual thing. It's part of, this instinct to long for the human community and love every member of that community. That instinct is what it's all about. And when you live that way, loving thy neighbor, what happens is you get a different feedback loop in your experience. You get love in return. And that really makes for life. That's exactly what it's about. Yeah, I could explain in more detail, but let's listen to the egotists.
So I could say that if we say that Rob Beasley has bipolar, you can hear that he probably had a depression phase around when the random massacre happened.
No, I was sad. I was saddened by it, because the true spirit is sad. Sadness or sorrow, genuine, authentic sorrow, is part of living with a good wolf, if you like. But you're never depressed. That's bullshit. And I've never, I was thinking about this bipolar diagnosis, and I'm thinking, no, I don't. I just don't seem to get depressed. What happens though, if I experience a loss of a loved one, I'll shed a tear, a genuine tear. But once that process is done, that's it. That's finished. That person is gone. They'll never exist again. So they're not part of the life experience. I'll have memories of what they, contribute to my life. Sort of, what do they call that? I can't think now. But anyway, but that's it. So again, Spaswold, think about this. Think it through. He would have no possible way of knowing what I experienced when I was 40 and how I handled that experience. He wouldn't. But as an accuser, he helps himself to notional ideas that fit a profile that he's trying to build that gaslights me. That's exactly what's going on here. Spazzy, I hope you're listening.
And he's like, what is the meaning of life? Yeah, why are we here?
Love.
Which can be the sort of questions you begin to ask during a depressive phase. And then
you got
How many years as a psych have you got, you idiot? Or are you a spiritually enlightened person? No. Then what's your basis for your position? I'll tell you, your fucking ego.
Triggered.
Phase when he's writing this book.
He got triggered, I guess.
Oh. The old fart is using the new lingo. Now, triggered, what was triggered? Oh, I think triggered is upset. They wind you up. And that's where these guys, they think triggers is good because it shows them as winners and the triggered person as a loser. Well, Sydney, I promise you this, I know enough about life now that karma's very, very real, and she's going to be your bitch if you don't wake up.
And yeah.
And yeah.
And it doesn't take long before we're into the Gospel of Thomas, because of he's like
Gospel of Jesus, recorded by Thomas. Get it right. Although it's written, I use the right, well, not the right, but the popular definition in the book.
Aware of this relatively recent discovery of a controversial new collection of Jesus sayings was to provide the key to answering those questions. For me,
correct.
These sayings from the Gospel of Thomas were like a secret key that unlocked many religious mysteries.
Correct.
These sayings and my subsequent search through history led me to conclude that there are a relatively simple explanation as to why we struggle for peace on earth.
Correct.
Quite simply, I believe...
Get rid of all the fucking egos. Love thy neighbour. There's your solution. You want peace on earth? That's what you do. And everyone fucking does it. And I tell you, everyone will benefit. Their life experience will go through the roof to what it is now. It is that simple. It is that simple. I'll say it again. It is that simple.
That the masses have been conned by those in power for centuries.
That's true. Absolutely 100% true.
Now, you kind of want to sort of go, well, yeah, I suppose it's an apt way. People have often used their power and authority to manipulate the masses below them for their own betterment.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know...
Yeah, Sydney, people like you, probably.
Marx said that religion is the opiate of the masses.
Yeah, so fucking hell, we're starting to say, oh, shit, he's talking stuff that other people talk. Ooh, watch out, Chaz. Your ego might be lost.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really want to disagree with him too.
Actually, you know, hearing it read back, I must thank him for this. It actually doesn't sound too bad, because I was always worried how my English would translate on paper. Hello, 5 viewers. I always wondered how my words were, and they come across okay. You know, it says what I wanted to say. I wouldn't change those words one bit.
Being there, but it's when you realise that what this is setting up is that there is this conspiracy theory throughout history among empires.
That's crap. Anyone with half a brain could look at, you know, these gods. They're made up by empires all the way through history, and it's a con game, and it's a very simple one. It's just like gaslighting is a very simple phenomenon. All these key things are fucking simple beyond measure. So Spazwold, if you went back and had a look at history, you'll find that it's not a conspiracy theory at all. You could start with the Kim dynasty over in North Korea. That model is exactly the same model that you see in the Roman Empire. It's the exact same model you see in the Persian Empire. It's the exact same model that you see in the Arabian Empire, or whatever, you know, the Ottoman Empire with Islam. It's all the same shit going on time and time again. That's why Wikipedia was so good, because I could rip through all of this history, right, this 900 years, and I could see the patterns that began to emerge. And it was what Jesus was saying about, you know, this duality being a reality with humans. It is. It's simple shit, I promise you, and it all fucking works. Am I swearing too much? I'm sort of getting comfortable with it at the moment. But anyway, maybe I'll stop I can stop it anytime I like, but I think I'll keep going a bit. Oh, all right.
And that it's almost like this sort of like it's all the same people throughout history.
No. The people are the same, because humans, right, when we talk about spiritual reality, it's the same for every single fucking human being. Doesn't change. You either choose to be egotistical, selfish, self-centered assholes, or you choose to be altruistic, caring people that love your humanity. That's it. That's all that's going on. That model explains everything. It explains the Kim dynasty. It explains the Roman Empire. It explains kings and queens, and, you know, it just explains it all. That's it. Yeah. I'm laughing because Chazwold, you know, likes complexity. It's just not required. You don't need complexity to understand things.
It's almost like an Illuminati conspiracy theory.
I thought he'd go there. No, it's not, Spazwold. Go and study Roman history, right? Or watch, I'll tell you what else you could do. Go and have a look at the Ashkenazi Jews and follow them. Don't worry about conspiracies, just follow them and follow their story as they move through history. It'll unfold to be exactly what I said.
Theory
Mm-hmm.
that he's going to be going to.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you realise, right.
I
I'm
just
sure
got
if I tried making the claims that he makes with the
Yeah.
evidence that he uses to make them
yeah.
to him,
I use history. You know, go and fucking look at those Wikipedia links, you know.
he'll be like, nah, that's shit.
Yeah, that's right. If something's shit, I'm going to tell you, and then it's up to you to prove your point. So I do that deliberately. I get in your face because I want you to fucking tell the truth. And when I know you're lying, you do your usual dances. You know, you just do your usual dance shit. And that's all you've been doing. You've been dancing. Well, no more dancing, Maria. You'll either run away from me or you'll tell the truth. And that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob Beasley is the atheist who believes he has all of the answers thanks to.
Nah, don't like being called an atheist. Although I do call my other account the atheist Jesus. But I don't believe anything. Not one single thing do I accept as a belief unless I've got evidence and truth. So if anything, I'd say that I'm a follower of the Jesus that taught the gnosis way. That would work for me. Or Jesus of the Injil, which is the Islam report on Jesus, on the Jesus story. So that's what I would say. Anyway, Spazwold, make up another fucking story.
One magical book, and it's a gospel.
There's no magic in it, you idiot. You're thinking of the Roman concocted stories. They're the ones that wrote the magical Jesus. A guy called Nerva. Go look him up.
Rob's the atheist. The gospel is Jesus telling everybody about God. I mean, like, I don't get it.
Well, you haven't read it. So now if he was in this room right now, I'd say, have you read it? And then I'd ask him, what's saying number 91? Tell me what it says. He wouldn't be able to answer. So again, we've got this delusional gaslighting phenomena going on. Cruel, sadistic behaviour, you know. You fuck my life over. See, I'm not bitching about it, but I guarantee it'll be shorter than I could have got if I hadn't run across you bricks. And unless I can convince these doctors to take me off lithium because they seem adverse to that, they put you on it and they want you to start off life. You know, I've got that as an outcome, and I've got to pay for that shit. This is all you're doing, as far as I can tell. But don't worry, I don't bear any grudges. That's life. You know, I'm not going to spend my life bloody worrying about you bricks. Just trying to get you to the truth.
Well, I mean, this is what Rob's trying to do with because we'll bring it up, because I know the website he probably uses when he places it. You go on this one, it's the gnosis.org, Naghami book.
Nagamati, you non. Now, I don't go there. I only use one translation, and that's that one there, the Stephen Patterson and Marvin Mayer, because I've spoken to Patterson. He's a bit of a pussy, but I have a lot of respect for this dude, Marvin Mayer. So that's all. And I don't go anywhere else. So again, right, so I've shown you exactly what I do. It should be clear to anyone with half a brain that these people are making at best, assumptions. At worst, deliberate and mischievous lies. I favour the latter.
And it's the Nagamadi Library.
Nagamadi.
Right, but there's no way he's read that. There's no way he's studied that book. It's just.
Well, hang on, let's check it. Here it is. It's only about a page and a bit long. 114 sayings. Bang, there. I've read it. It's in my book. And again, see, this is again a total lie. If they'd read the book, they would see that I actually wrote all of those 114 out, plus I added my explanation for what they actually mean. Because Jesus says you've got to interpret it. It's a secret book. So I know that content backwards. Now, if they read the book, as they say they have, or like to try and con people into believing, then they should know that I know it extremely well. But no. The discrediting accusers won't have that. They want their worldview to be heard. And they want to go on as internet bullies with no challenge. Not in my watch, you dickheads.
No way he's studied it.
Yep, actually, have I not only studied it, I think I'm actually a master of it, or at least the great majority of it. Well, I'm damn sure the great majority I know perfectly.
Well, he might have read through it at one stage, but I mean, it's like the family has, and it said.
So, Spazwold, does that mean that you visit here, you sit with me while I'm going through? When I wrote the book, you were here while I'm trying to work everything out, and so as the accuser and abuser, you kind of know all this stuff? Or how is it that you actually draw these conclusions? The word that comes to mind is delusions. You nutcase.
Whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death.
Yeah, now what that means, because I know he's going to sort of wank around this, that's specifically, and if you go to any other spiritual teachings, one of the things that they'll, if they know what they're talking about, will be that you'll get liberty from the fear of death. You'll no longer be preoccupied with death at all, ever. Just one day in your life, you'll die. And it's not something that it is actually something that is part of the deal. You don't have to rationalize it. When you get to the proper state of enlightenment, bang, that's it. Death is no longer anything to be feared. But that doesn't mean that if someone walks into your house and with a gun, you'll experience fear, because the other side of the equation, the self-survival instinct, will kick in. And so you'll have that fear. So if you're getting punished and whipped and, all the other cruel things that people do to others, you'll have fear, but you'll lose any thought for it. You'll just be motoring along through life, and one day you'll be dead. And that's that. And it is a real thing. So you don't conceptually create that thinking. It just comes upon you, if you like. So Jesus said, nothing's added, nothing's taken away. It's just about awareness. It's a new awareness. It's got nothing to do with the intellect. Absolutely fucking nothing. That's why Chaz struggles. He's all about the intellect.
And this starts to be where Rob Beasley's delusion comes in.
Did he say delusion? Or is he just projecting? That's what these pricks do. They project their worldview over you, and they think that they're correct. But no, what delusion really is a false representation of reality. What is that? A lie. These guys like bloody troopers.
It seems to be right. Well, if I interpret these things, then I am God. I'm Jesus.
I'm not God. I did that to stir him one day. But there is no such thing as God. It truly isn't a reality. I can tell you specifically how that concept was created, and how malicious and fucking problematic that is. You can go back to the days of the pharaohs in Egypt and follow the story through. You see the patterns easily. So there's no God, but Jesus was a real dude, 100%. And he is the author of probably one of the best short documents on what it means to be enlightened and what spirituality is truly about. But all he was talking about was nature, because he says it's within. So the God this God idea, the true story about what is this thing called God, is actually our nature within us and also the nature outside of us. So the way to live your life is to respect the nature within and the nature without. If you follow that, you know, you'll have the best life that you can have. And folks, you only get one fucking life. No matter what you think as young people, I promise you, you only get one life and there are no returns. That was also part of the scam that the empires did.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, those who
Sydney, wake up. Schneider, come on.
seek should not stop seeking until they find. When they find, they will be disturbed. When they are disturbed, they will marvel and will reign over all. And thereafter have reigned, they will rest.
Yeah, now what he's talking about there is very specifically the enlightened journey. I'm not going to go into detail on it now, but that's exactly what that is. And it is exactly right. Exactly, 100% correct.
And in the meantime, I'll just talk to some 15-year-old kid about having sex with his girlfriend and how to masturbate.
Well, at least I'm not a predator in that telling. So it seems that there's some adjustments going on. All right? Anyone that hasn't seen the video, go to this beginning and watch it again, and you'll see how these guys try and project that I'm a sex predator. I'm the furthest from a sex predator. Don't mind sex, mind you, like most folks. I mean, that's one of the great experiences of life, but it needs to be put in its place, you know. Love must come first. And I'm not talking about any Mickey Mouse love. I'm talking about true love. Where, you know, where you really respect that other human being that you're going to have that sexual experience with. So thank you, Sydney. You've got to bring things back on point. Keep the trash talk, you know, bash your victim, gaslight your victim.
Yeah, right now. No, Sydney.
No.
As a clinical experiment, I wanted to know if perhaps mutual masturbation could help me with my Sandra.
No. I can sort that one out myself. I still think it's a very, very good approach. It's a very simple approach that works. Here's the question for you, mature adults. What would you add to that to make the sex talk more efficient and effective? How would you set that young person off on live with, you know, what would your advice be? Then they'll say, I wouldn't bloody tell another kid. No, just your family. Just, you know, your son and daughter. What would you tell them? Oh, I'm not going to talk about that publicly. That's my private. You know, you start getting all these bullshit excuses to sort of cover up. But the challenge to these turkeys is, how would you handle your sex ed? Now, when they go through all the excuses, just keep asking them till you get it out of them. You'll find, I bet you, they can't improve on that. Oh, hang on. You got to mention condoms and that. I didn't bring that in earlier. So, you know, sex protection. But 1, 2, 3, that's all you need, I reckon. Prove it wrong.
The conversation. So I decided to ask a 15-year-old boy if he could mutually masturbate with his girlfriend. So I could obviously jack off, but with my wife, of course.
Well, my wife was here, but there was no masturbation going on in this place. It was quite a serious matter. I really wanted my hand on heart. I wanted that kid, who was a really intelligent kid, who knew what true love was, to be aware of, you know, masturbating each other, although I didn't use those words. That's all. Don't do it anymore. So don't worry, boys. Everything's under control. And I know I've done no harm because I know the kid in question. And as I said before, you know, if he were to show up here, I'd set him loose on you. And he'd fucking make idiots of you boys.
The best one is the whole when you hear them talk about the boobs, though, asking girls to show their tits.
Yes, I did that too. Yeah, guilty as charged, Your Honour. But there's another moral reason for doing it. So let's hear your side of the story, Spazwold.
Yes, and then he explains that. He actually goes and he tries to talk his way rationally into the reason that he did that.
No. I explained what happened. If I could get Sugar Bloody Rhodes to be a decent human being and fucking speak truthfully, she would prove that what I'm saying is damn well correct. So what I said, so we go through this. This is the 7th fucking time. A guy called Mark Annoyer. He annoyed me. He annoys you. He's just a gaslighter like you turkeys. Go and look him up. He runs a thing called Boiled Piss, you know, and when you see that, you say, oh, I know what this prick's about. He conned this lady into having a relationship. She got sucked in. She thought he loved her, but it was a fake love. And there was some sexual context. Sugar let slip the other day that she showed her boobs twice. So when she said twice, I thought, fucking yeah, that's what happened, isn't it? Anyway, what happened was once this guy got his jollies, he then dumps her. And this is what I mean about having true love first. That's why it's so important, because these whole downstream events would not occur if you establish true love. And everyone has a mother, so they know, you know, they can fucking work out what true love is, because there's only one form of love. Anyway, this prick dumps her, and then what he did, he basically gaslighted her. He went back to the community that she was hanging with, and she's a bit of a needy one, this one, and basically trash talked her in the community. So she's suffering from 2 things, or 3 actually. She's got PTSD or PSTD or whatever that is. That's a real thing after a long time in community service, paramedic or something. And second thing was she's been dumped by the person she thought loved her, and she's got this thing about bloody pommies. Yeah, and then there's some good pommies, but there's some buggers, particularly on the internet. There's a crew of these pommies that are gaslighters. So that's that. And then the third element was a group of people, male and female, that were, you know, not a bad sort of a community. They played their little games, as stupid, immature adults do. Although, no, I shouldn't say that, because you can have fun in community, and you should have fun with each other, you know, but not psychological warfare. So those are the 3 elements, right, of that situation. So I walk along and I see what's going on, and I'm a pretty quick read on play. And you know, it didn't take me long to work out that Mark Annoyer was a self-centered, egotistical prick. The fact that he dumped her and the fact that he, you know, trash talked her to the community filled the gaps. So it's a bullying tack. So my form is that I will go and defend her and look after her. My first intention is to look after her. Try as I may to convince her that this guy is the one that's responsible for this action and he's acting immorally. She kept trying to buy into the fucking idea that she was somehow responsible. So, and she got within that community too, which I thought was wrong. You had a bunch of women that basically turned on their fellow female, and I find that a bit offensive. So, and it was all wrong. So this girl had no fault on her part. She was used and abused. That's that. So here's me. I come up with a brilliant idea. Again, if I can get myself into trouble. I'm thinking, because all the while I'm trying to teach people about these instincts and try and prove to them that they're actually real. So I thought, I thought, since she may have shown her boobs or something like that for the internet sex, what I'll do is I'll try and prove that that these sort of behaviours, these sexual behaviours, are instinctual. They're below the instincts. And so, and I thought if I could prove that, I'm going to win a couple of battles. I'm going to prove the theory about instincts and how they function. And also, I threw into the mix true love. True love was part of it. And I thought that I'd be able to go to this lady and I'd be able to say, look, I do know what I'm talking about. This guy's a prick. It's instinctual. It's his dick that wants to see your boobs. It's not your boobs that want to, jump out and say, hey, have a look at him. That's not the story that goes on here. He's the initiator. He's the guilty one. He's the prick with the ego. So then what I did is from that point forward, I targeted specifically 4 of the ladies that had abused her, which was wrong. And I said, show us your boobs. And they're not young people either. These are mature age and they should know damn well better. See, that's the other thing these pricks do too. This is how they gaslight this story. They say young women, and that I do it prolifically. Well, no, I didn't. And also think about this. My wife was aware of all of this going on. I just said, I want to do it because I want to try and prove something. And so I would say to the ladies, right, who loves you? And so because I'm enlightened, I love all humanity. So I wasn't telling a fib about that. And show us your boobs, come on. And then what was intriguing to me is that they didn't leave the room. So I thought, fuck, I'm onto something here. Little did I know, my wife found out, she told me later, little did I know that these gaslighters were actually sitting behind. It was the hangouts were being streamed to these clowns. So there's no way known it's a proper test anymore, right? You can't prove it because the ladies know that people are watching, so they're not going to bloody show their boobies. Now, I promise you, I don't do it anymore. I mean, if ladies want to show their boobs to me, I'll happily sit there and look, but I don't do it anymore. I don't initiate at all. It was to do something. It was to prove a point. And it was a really important point, I felt, because that lady with her background, and I think she still carries, things that she runs around saying she's enlightened. She's not by a long shot. But I think if she would bother to listen to me, I can actually relieve her of a lot of her baggage, or at least give her something to think about. But you can't live lies. She lives a lie to stay in these bully groups, and that's, to me, is totally wrong. I think she actually had to, or she apologized to the group. And fucking hell, it was the group that did the wrong thing. They all want to move past it, but by moving past it, this lady carries some baggage. I promise you, 100%. Anyway, so that's my reason. So let's see what the boys, that's my side of the story. Let's see what the boys have to say about it.
It's like me going, Sydney, show us your dick.
Hang on. He said, Sydney, show us your dick. Here's the question that never gets answered. I wonder if these boys have got, clean sheets. Oh, and by the way, no boobs were shown in the making of this trial. Not one. Not one. Yeah, I wonder if we would examine these guys a little bit more closely. What would we find? Would we find that they actually ask ladies to show their boobs, or would we find that they watch porno movies regularly? Would we find that they masturbate regularly? And I mean, that's normal, so wouldn't hold that against them. But I'm just saying that the accusers and abusers, are they as clean skinned? Are they suitable for judgment day?
But don't worry, when you actually start trying to show, when you start showing me, they'll be, no, stop doing that. No, I didn't want to see that.
Well, actually, not all the time. There was one occasion where I said, if she does, good, all well and good. And if not, so be it. But my intention was, I had no intention of letting the ladies show their boobs at all. Because you got to remember, my wife on a couple of occasions is in the background, so it's not where I really wanted to go. I seriously did just want to prove a point.
Don't worry. I'd have stopped them from doing it after they would have done it.
Exactly.
It's kind of
Well, win-win.
like that. Hey, honey, do you fancy anal tonight? You're joking, aren't you?
So,
Depends.
God, anal sex, doesn't work for me, Chaz. Doesn't work. I don't know where you get that. See, there you go. That's the slip, Anal sex is on his mind. Yeah, I don't get it.
So let me
Maybe. Yeah,
let me go back to the very first thing this Rob Beasley said in that last clip. He says,
"You're this bloke that you don't know, or he doesn't know you, or." Because that's another video I got of Sydney about a week ago. Sydney was in a room saying, Who are you talking about? Oh, Rob Beasley. And then he starts prattling off a lot of details. Oh, dear. That's what I call fizzing.
there was this 15-year-old kid hanging around in our hangouts. And I found him to be a rather intelligent, etc., etc., etc. Well, let's just take that first little chunk. There was a 15-year-old kid.
Sydney's learning from me, right? Because I'm a big one on the devil being in the detail. Now, Sydney's a Satanist. So now we've got Sydney as a Satanist. Well, at least that's what his poster on his website says. Oh, not his website, his bloody channel.
Hanging in my hangout. What? How does he explain that?
In there in the first place.
Yeah, how does he explain?
Okay, I'll explain it. We're just sitting there one day and the kid just popped up. And then he was desperate to show his car racing game. So I watched it. And the more I engaged with the kid, the more I liked. Benny was jealous as all buggery because I'd give that kid room control and not Benny room control. Because he was just a mature and intelligent human being. So that's how it happened. That's all. I suppose, let's see what Schneider says now. Schneider the spider.
Explain that specifically.
Well, no, Sydney, it was nothing sexual. No, come on.
I understand, but he said it's the father's duty to be a guardian or be responsible for the child.
He's struggling to find his fucking ideas. But again, my wife was present most of the times that kid came around. She knows exactly what the relationship is. Schneider, I'd take her word over yours any day. And when you meet my wife, she's a lovely human being and very, very smart, very, very intelligent. She's smarter than me on a lot of things, particularly, she picks me up when I get sucked in by these boys or I get too engrossed in a certain outcome. So she's no mug. And the thing is, she probably won't come online, but if she did, you'd be able to tell. The read on her would be very impressive. She's an impressive lady.
Oh, because people have said to him that, even if that was the case, Rob, that's not your place to have that conversation with him.
And he actually,
that's his parent.
Right. And at the end of somewhere in that little dialogue, in the monologue there, he actually says it.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. I'm a truth teller, not a fucking liar.
But if that's the case, then how enlightened can he possibly be?
Very. Nah, it doesn't work that way. What it is, this enlightenment phenomenon, it's like turning on a switch almost. You just become aware of, it's that know thyself thing. So it's not a big deal. But, well, in terms of the actual functionality, it's quite simple and basic, but it is a big deal in terms of the quality of life that you live when you take that route. You feed that good wolf.
Yeah, so Rob Beasley is never wrong, except when he did that thing, he was wrong to have done it.
And the other thing.
Yeah, but that's all right. Do I say I'm never wrong? Maybe to get up your nose, Spazwell. I make mistakes just like the next person. But the difference is, if I make a mistake, I own up to it and I take responsibility for it. All right?
Yeah, the other list of things that he got wrong, like how good of a person Benny and Down are.
Yeah, well, no, I knew that they were playing games, right? But Down, I didn't know how bad he was. I'll grant you that. But when I saw him talk to that young Canadian girl, that was fucking it for me. I treat him like you pricks now. And same with Benny. I mean, I've given Benny about 4 different chances, and he stitched me up on every occasion. Well, he won't do it to me again, ever. Romo the prankster.
They're enlightened. And Luke, enlightened.
Yep, I don't back down from that. But Luke, what I've done, I've got him into a bit of a holding pattern because I think he might be lying to me, but I don't know, and I won't make that call. I'm not like you pricks. I don't make a judgment call until I get, the information. And if I haven't got it, well, I'll just leave it at that. So with Luke, I put him into a holding pattern until he shows me a pic of his twin brother, because he's trying to tell me that he's got a twin brother, and that's the reason. And it's his twin brother. That's the one behind the sexual predator. Now, sorry, not sexual predator, attempted sexual assault. Hello, 5 viewers. So, what I'm saying is, but if you ever bother, and this is the problem with you people, you never bother to pay attention to folks. If you actually pay attention to Luke, there's a lot more going on. And he absolutely runs rings around you people. You have no control over him whatsoever. He's quite an intelligent man. All I want to do is, and the other thing is, apparently that sexual charge goes back to the 19. He'd be about, 25, 27. So there's a bit of a gap of time. He's been processed by law, if it's him. He's been on a sex offenders list, so the community actions have all been taken. Where do you have the right to play judge, jury, and executioner? And liar, too, because you gaslight that story. You just do. You horrible pricks. So, Luke's taken care of. He's enlightened. Benny's an enigma, right? Because he just won't stop doing what he fucking does. But he's extremely intelligent human being. There's no question on that. But he gave me excuses why he does the plays with you guys, and it's all bullshit. So his enlightenment tag's been removed. Is that okay?
Enlightened.
I'm just wondering if enlightened is starting to mean paedophile ring.
Now this is what there's a guy called Bobcast. I thought they were up to that. The guy called Bobcast and these guys and Bulldog all got to fuck together, and they've come up with an idea that they're going to try and lump us all together and make us into a group of nutters and pedophiles. Ain't going to work, boys. Because you've got no frigging evidence for it. So all they do is they trash talk you, and people unfortunately believe it, and you get socially isolated. But I can handle that shit. So that's what they're up to now. Now, where did the pedophile stuff start, in my experience? Well, it's a guy called John Bulldog May. In my Chronicles, there's a video in there of a video that Rose Patton did called Flat Earth, Pizza on a Flat Earth or something, because she's a flat earther. And that's bullshit too, Rose, if you ever fucking see this. So if you go and look at that and go to the 2 minute mark, 2 hour mark, rather, sorry, 2.00, and watch that, you'll see the caliber of bulldog, and you'll also see him doing pedophilic like behaviors, which are far, 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 far worse than what these guys are trying to pin on me. One sex talk with one mature age 15-year-old, and I decided after it, without being prompted, that it was the wrong thing because the father of the boy should have given him the talk. But the talk itself is actually going to enrich that guy's life. I promise you. All right, so that's my side. Let's see what the gaslighting fraternity say, and let's see if we can't pick some fucking holes in it.
Holy fuck, that's a very...
And they would say, oh, yeah, Luke, he's in.
So these guys, now Sydney's part of this scam, right? So he knows, but they try acting, right? You want to see acting, watch me at work. but yeah, so what, you know, Sydney throws in, oh fuck, wow, this is a revelation. Ever thought of writing Bibles? That book of Revelations is a story that was written after the third of 3 Jewish-Roman wars, and it includes revelations about Nero and Vesuvius. So it's all bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Enlightened.
Tomato?
Did you hear him, right?
Enlightened?
Yes. Tomato, yes.
He was watching, this is what I found funny. I was listening to one of his hangs earlier when I was doing a bit of housework. And just some noise in the background while I was doing it. And
see, I've invaded their lives. So they've invaded my life, but it actually works. It's a reciprocal thing. They're like fish on a bloody hook.
Rob Beasley was saying, like, when it came to Luke Dogg's alleged conviction for sexual assault, he was saying, well, now, I don't know the age of the person involved, and, you know, or...
Well, that's true, I don't. I mean, if anyone knows, let me know. Not that that's... it's because... I'll tell you why that's important. Well, there's a number of things that I don't know yet. I don't know the actual actions taken, because it says attempted sexual assaults. So does that mean he grabbed the lady on the pussy and she threw a hissy fit? And I don't think so, because I don't think would you end up on a sexual would you end up a register? I don't know the bloody twin story. I don't know the apparently intoxication is involved, so the guy's pissed. Does he know the lady? Is there some sort of pre-association? Has he done anything about the event with respect to her since? Has he sort of made peace with her? So there's a lot of things that are unknown, and the bloody Luke won't tell me. He won't tell me, so I stuck him in the naughty corner until and I won't deal with him, and I won't even deal with this issue until I get some facts. But I certainly will not sit there and judge. I'm not a judge. But if I get my facts, look out. I'm going to call you out. I damn well will. Every time. You know, and if the facts tell me that you're a liar, I'm going to call you out for being a liar. Just like these gaslighters. They're fucking pathological liars. Yeah, I keep wondering whether, you know, is the fullness of justice going to be that these guys end up in a psych ward? Because I've got to tell you, I mean, I've been through the experience and I've been diagnosed, and I've stayed with folks that have been psychiatrically unwell, and the criteria for those people doesn't, in terms of its harm for society, doesn't come fucking close to these pricks. Doesn't come close. Delusions are major in these guys thing, and yeah. Oh, and the other thing was, these guys tried to link this story to a missing girl further down the track, and they were fucking caught out. And then you had a guy called Positively Godless. He set up a sting where he masqueraded as a young girl at 16, so he fucked his sting up. He should have made it 15, and he tried to rectify that, and people caught him out. So he set up a sting to get Luke to send a dick pic across, and apparently, well, I don't know, because Benny was telling the story, so he's a bullshit artist. I don't know whether it was a dick pic of his, that showed Luke's head, and just missing information all over the place. So that's my side of the story.
For that to, say anything.
Right.
But then when it comes to calling Bulldog a pedo based on a clip that he's in some ways taking
that is such bullshit. There's no way you could interpret that.
Age of the kid.
Bullshit. Okay. Roll the video. No, I won't, but I'll just summarize. Bulldog, you're sitting there saying, come on, get your gherkin out. Now, gherkin being a euphemism for penis. Get your gherkin out, come on, get your gherkin. Now, if those young boys had responded to that and pulled their penises out because he was cajoling them, think of the psychological impact that may have. No major drama perhaps, but you just never know. That's what he was specifically doing. And I mean, you should have seen the prick hit the roof when I caught him out, because what was more important to me was to show him up as a chronic liar. He said, before we showed the video, he said, no, I didn't. It's all bullshit. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No. Where is it? Where's the evidence? So he's trying to bluff his way through. And then when we actually showed the evidence, he starts saying, threats. Be afraid, Beasley. Be afraid. And I said, is that a threat? I think, or something to that effect. And then he says, it's a promise. And then he cusses out my wife, right? Because she spoke up for once in her life. She doesn't like treading on people's toes. So if you watch that video, I mean, to me, again, that's far worse. Now, Sydney, the Schneider, he's seen the video, I think. He knows what he sees, but he sacrifices that for his little gang. So he's trying to keep his gang sorted. Bunch of arseholes. Hang on, arseholes are useful. And don't worry, boys, I'm just attacking your egos. Your people part is fine. You just got to stop telling fucking lies.
There's the age of the kid involved.
There's no way you can interpret that as pedophilia in any perspective. I'm sorry.
Really? See how he overemphasizes? But Sydney, I'm willing to put that to the test. Let's get into a hangout. We'll grab that thing, and then we'll if we can get a fucking audience, and we'll just get them to vote. Say whether it's pedophilic. You criminals.
No, I heard that.
No, it's pedophilic behaviour, Sydney.
Correct. I just said it again. You wacko. Pay attention.
No. All right then. All righty, if you say so. Wow.
And he's assuming the age of the child, and that's...
No. Rose saw them. They were young boys. You could tell by their faces. You fucking lying pricks.
That's the thing. So we can't assume in the case of Luke, but we can assume in the case of Bulldog.
No, there's no assumptions. We've got a video of Bulldog, and we've got him going all troppo because he was caught out, guilty as charged, and we've got troll and fucking tripping over himself and fizzing Bulldog out. So no, we've got evidence, but with the Luke story, we don't have the complete story. Yet you pricks sit there as judges and jurors. You, facetious. That doesn't work, does it? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
But the thing is, he's got no empathy for the victim. Either way, he's got no empathy.
Right. Wrong. I don't show empathy the way you do, right? With your false, we're just trying to help you, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. What I do is I take action.
For the victim of
Of
Luke,
course he doesn't care.
No, I care about that lady's circumstance. What I would like to see, or what I hope to see, is that Luke somehow finds a way to apologise, if possible, but lots of unknowns before you work out the best solution to fix the problem. Lots and lots of unknowns. Judge Judy.
No.
All he wants is he wants to either protect Luke Dog,
Yeah.
Right. Now, he's trying to gaslight me into a pedophilia connection. He wants to protect Luke Dog. I don't want to protect anything. All I want to do is get to the truth before I make. So if I found that Luke had, it was a violent attack against the woman and he hadn't redressed it, then I'm not going to associate with the guy. And I'll tell him, I'll just say, no, mate, if you want to deal with me, you have to fucking fix your house. I just have a strong feeling that it's not as bad. There's a lot of good in young Lukey, and he is an extremely intelligent human being, and I still hold that he's enlightened. So it's just hard for me to sort of grasp that. But, but again, I've got to get the truth. So that's already in place. I've already put the roadblock, and it's up to him now what he does about it.
to make himself look good, or he wants to castigate Bulldog to make himself look good. Rob doesn't care.
No, I just want the truth. Bulldog shouldn't do that stuff, and hopefully he hasn't. He stopped it.
Care about the people. Rob cares about himself. Like he certainly didn't care about.
Now again, he's gaslighting me because how does he know what I fucking think or what my motives are? I'm not saying he's right or wrong. What I'm saying is, how does he know? How does he draw his conclusions? He has to answer that question. If he says observations, then what are the observations? Right? It's not hard to deal with, except that when you confront the chronic liar, you have to run through hoops to get the bastards to tell the truth.
Sugar.
Yeah.
When he got hold of her,
Right.
basically made her life even fucking worse.
Ha ha! That's not true. And again, if she would tell the truth, I mean, it's actually her that makes everything worse for her. What I did is I comforted her when she was, at a really stressed stage. I got her recovered, I'm pretty sure, to a point. But I needed her to sort of trust me, not the other group. And she just, and certainly not this Mark and Neuer. She had to let those go until she was ready to rock and roll. But she couldn't let those things go. And as soon as I knew, as soon as she got back in front of these dudes, the fucking same crap would go on and on. And it did. She thinks she knows better, but she fucking doesn't. She's a ditzy girl, that one. So I actually got her to a place. Now, in relation to what he's saying about things getting worse for her, it's all her own fucking doing. Absolutely 120,000%. What I did do though, and I'm still doing it, I still want those pricks from that time. Or no, I don't necessarily. I mean, if they don't want to go back there, that's their business. But it's part of my business to report on what motivated me to do certain things. So, in order to do that, I have to tell the truth about those events. That's all. That's all. Not hard. And if that hurts people, well, too bad. It's the truth. You should not. Hello, 5 viewers. You shouldn't. You should not. Goodbye, 5 viewers. You should not, right, hide from the truth. It's not a good way to live your life. I promise you. And that's why these pricks are so, stupid nutcases.
What a cunt he was to Sugar, eh?
Yeah.
70-year-old bear. I hope you notice that I don't use that word at all. I don't like it. 70-year-old dude on the internet with a bunch of internet bullies using the C word. Nice form, Schneider.
Right? He kept talking over her, tried to tell her what her experience was and what had happened.
I know. What a piece of shit.
Because he wanted to attack Mark Schneider.
No. Mark Neuer was the problem. If we could get the truth out of him, then the problem's gone. Right? But you dickheads were too stupid to see through his, that his dick was... so it's all his dick that started that whole problem. Mark Neuer's dick is the problem. Chop that off and problem solved. Well, ego's the problem, really.
And he also wanted to try and make himself look good.
I didn't give a shit about looking good to anyone. All I cared about was Sugar. But unfortunately, she cared more about her neediness for these fucking idiots. And see, what I wanted to do for her is bring her up to a positive, strong position. And then she could have went back into the community and said, look, no, you guys have done wrong, because you could easily point it out where these pricks went wrong. And in my humble opinion, she still should do that. It's an important life lesson. But anyway, that's just me.
By proxy.
You know, there's a YouTuber, Lalilu.
Mm-hmm.
She nailed Rob to the wall.
Who's that? Oh, fuck. I know who he's talking about. This lady that's got an emblem. Oh, she's a bloody Daoist. Oh, Daoism sucks. Don't fucking ever learn Daoism. I'll tell you why. In reality, there's a duality. In Daoism, it goes to a 64-bit model. Makes it too fucking complicated. Those stupid Daoists can't put things into a proper place because they've got 64 fucking things to deal with. That's what I reckon anyway. Because Daoists that I've come across are really self-centered individuals. And if you think I'm wrong, think again. Brother John, for example, comes across as a real nice, pleasant dude. He's a self-centered prick. And so this woman is self-centered. So what happened, it was a bloody setup. She came into the room to try and tell me to leave the past stories alone. And I said, basically no, because if I've got to explain something, I've got to explain the whole fucking context. Otherwise, you people will have me hung and dried and quartered.
Because she said, you...
Like unspeakable.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, she didn't dominate me at all. When I twigged to what was going on, what happened was I got to say everything. Oh, but the setup was this guy, what's his name? Jim Barrow. Barrow or Barrack or something. He's a prick too. He and her were basically double teaming me. And I as long as you moderate and I get a voice, you get a voice, I'm fine with that. So she didn't dominate me. I got through the whole thing and I got to say exactly everything, told my truth again. And that was that. And basically told her to stick it up her ass in terms of, me doing what she wanted me to do. I won't. I'll do what I choose to do. what I choose to do is for the best of all humanity. All right, away we go. What else you got to say, Schneider? Yes, spider.
She said to him, you ask women to show their titties.
Yeah, well, I did. I've admitted to that.
And he said, hey, I've got an explanation for that.
That's correct. So far, so good, Schneider.
And he started talking about, there's this guy, Mark Neuer, and
See, just the way he said that, right? Right? He knows that that's the truth, right? Because everyone fucking knows that part of the story. But he doesn't like that because that's against his premise or his gaslighting or his internet bullying.
Immediately, Lalilu cut him off. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. Why did you ask?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, she makes an accusation about the titty, and then she doesn't allow me to give a full information. That's when I knew this is a setup. And the fact that these turkeys know tells me that it was streamed out of that hangout to these pricks. That's what they do all the time. I don't mind. I don't have a problem because, I'm just going to tell the truth, and it'll always bring them undone.
Women to show their titties.
Entirely different, yeah. Mark Neuer and Sugar engaged in.
No, I'm not talking. No. I know it doesn't matter what Mark Neuer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Come on, boys, make your mind up. Which story are you going to fucking run with?
It doesn't matter what Mark Neuer or anybody did because the.
Well, yes, it does. Shidney, because that's the root problem. Mark Neuer's dick is the problem here. Sorry, ego dick. Well, sex comes from the egoic side.
Question to him was, why did you ask women to show their titties?
Well,
I heard that.
It was a social experiment, you see, and it was.
No, it was a combination of a social experiment, but it was also targeted at helping Sugar, because what I wanted to do is then go back to her and say, Sugar, see, I'm right. Dick's sex is instinctual. Someone starts it, right? But I'm starting it from the love point, right? That was the difference. And I wanted to prove that the woman's response, the female response, can't be avoided, is unavoidable in the long run. But my little social experiment was confounded by the fact that these pervs were sitting on the outside stirring things along. So I'm getting feedback that's saying, shit, it might be right, because they're not walking from the room. Because my wife, if you asked her that, she'd just go fucking out of the room. It's like that girl, to give you a more current example, it's that girl that bloody Down Corner abused. As soon as he said something of a sexual nature that was really crude, like, dick up vagina, bang, she went immediately out of the room. The feedback I was getting, because these guys were setting things up, was that she was staying there. So, what the heck's going on?
Based on the whole Mark Neuer thing. Now, but the thing is, Rob's trying to sort of do an experiment based on the idea of two consenting adults exchanging.
And it's always the male that makes the first move, right?
With tits, yes. Women think of tits, according to my wife, think of tits as like we think of our titties, right? I just don't even think about them, my chest. I think it's the same for women. It's not part of their sexual context. It's just the males that want to see titties. And they're lovely things in their own right. So I'm a male. So what I'm trying to say is that the male initiates the action. And I just wanted to prove that then triggers in the woman. And I wasn't sure about this, whether it worked with true love or without, you know, whether you needed that in place. So I ran the true love sort of story.
But what Rob was doing was asking strangers who he had no type of.
No, I knew all the women. So there's 4 from the community. I think Sugar at some point I might have asked her. I'm not sure who the rest are, but bring forth your evidence. I won't deny it if it rings any bells.
Affectionate relationship with, or who had shown an interest in him.
No. True love, right? True love means love everybody, right? You people, I think the church, with marriage and all that shit confuses the whole story. It's pretty simple.
No, I heard a few of these. He would go, so you understand that love can't.
Oh, wait a minute. Did Sydney just fizz himself? Did Sydney just fizz himself? I don't know. You'd have to look at the whole story, but I think, it's like he, oh, fuck, did that happen? Or, oh, wow. No, maybe he didn't.
Before sex, right? And
yes, true love, not just love. You've got to understand what true love means. It's not hard. If you've got a mother that loves you, that's true love.
The other side would say, yeah. And then he'd say, okay, so we got that straightened out. Then show us your tits.
Yeah, love doesn't come before sex.
Yes, it does. Well, yes, it should.
Not in all circumstances.
No, well, annoy her, no, because if it was true love that preceded that relationship, there wouldn't have been any fucking drama, and I would have got myself into trouble.
No, but this is what his.
Well, he was doing it again in that hangout when you play it again and we go through it a bit more.
Yeah.
There will be a bit where Rob Beasley's talking about this sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's asking somebody about love, and they're saying the same thing that I said to him, about hormones and oxytocin.
You see how stupid this prick is? That's not true love. I mean, when you think of your mother, you don't sort of check your, all of the binary components or all of the underlying things. That's not what it's about. What it's about is about the feelings that emerge, because it's true love, remember, not love. The feelings that emerge in the relationship with your mother. Hopefully you've got a loving mother. And that's the model. It all builds around that. That's what it actually is. So he typically, see, this is this idiot, the way he thinks. He just can't see how it fucks him over. This Spazwold just isn't aware of this. He thinks that reality is all cooked up in your head. So if you can logically explain something, then that must be real. No, you idiot.
And things like that. He's like, no, that's not what love is. And he's like, no, that's actually what love is.
Yes.
But he'll quote Robert Sapolsky, and that's exactly what Dr. Sapolsky would say. Love.
Love thy neighbour. Do we need Robert Sapolsky to understand what that is? Jesus, Spazwold.
I've never heard of Sapolsky.
Oh, Robert Sapolsky's a Stanford lecturer in neurobiology.
Huh. This prick probably never even heard of him until I showed him the videos.
Oh, yeah?
Rob likes to quote on this thing to do with baboons. And there was...
Yeah, because that's what you people remind me of. You're the traditional baboon model. That describes your behaviour. Still trying to work out who the alpha baboon is. I think they all think they're alpha.
A disease that went through and it killed the alpha male population.
Oh, right. Heard it fucking 1,000 times. Move it along. This is starting to piss me off.
Of this group of baboons. And then the societal behaviours changed because obviously the only males that were breeding them were the beta males.
Beta.
Because obviously all the alpha males had died off because of this disease.
Oh, okay.
Now, Rob thinks
No, Rob knows,
the
and Sapolsky also knows.
alpha males dying off made the society magically decide to change their behaviour and switch from bad wolf, evil nastiness to good wolf.
Correct. That's right. That's right. What happened is the alpha males went, and then they became more of a matriarchal society, the matriarchal society, and that changed the herd dynamic and changed to a herd dynamic instead of being based around an alpha male, and that led to changes in behaviours. So that's pretty obvious, Baswold.
You know how there's always this idea that somehow masculinity is a bad thing, and the more effeminized we become, it's somehow better.
No, got nothing to fucking do with that. When we talk about spirituality, it's the same, male, female, no difference, none, zip, nada.
Yeah.
So, see too, when they're gaslighting, they introduce concept of their own, which I don't get an opportunity to say that's bullshit. And if I say it's bullshit, then they do their little bloody egotistical dance and won't provide proof.
There are a lot of people talking about Rob's sort of doing that, but without using the kind of radical feminism.
No, got nothing to fucking do with that, Spazwell. Pay attention. Just two wolves inside every human being that lives and walks and breathes on this planet.
Postmodernistic.
He's just showing off there, I'm well read. I know shit. You are a no shit.
Argumentation that tries to back that up. And it's just utter lunacy. And
it is lunacy.
The gaslighters gang up on me.
He's like, now I don't need to know about that stuff. And it's like, sorry, you don't need to know about what hormones do what.
No. Couldn't give a fuck. Don't need to know. The doctors will take care of that if something at that level breaks.
As to then understand how the brain works. Do you
It's just a fucking data bank and it's flawed in its functionality. That'll do. That works. Move on.
Do you not understand what science says?
Yeah, I read, and if it makes sense, I accept it. If it doesn't, I don't.
I mean, that's just the thing. He'll be the first person to say science is wonderful.
Yes, true. Because it's gnosis and science, knowing. And how science works is this. It sensorially experiences reality, and if it can validate by repetition across tests, it then says that's reality. That's all science is. You fuck yourself up with all your thinking, Spazwold.
And then in the next breath, he'll try dismissing science.
No, not science. But I will dismiss something that's theoretical, logical, or unproven that can't be borne out in reality. It's the same as saying God's real with your fallacy crap. I would like to find my truths in the physical world through sensorial experience. That's exactly what science does. Exactly, 100%.
And logic.
That's cookie, like Christian. It's Christian cookiness, man.
Yeah, I know. It's all the same babies. I said this before. I said, like 2 years ago, I said, Rob Beasley is like a Christian. He's like a creationist. It's like arguing with a creationist who doesn't believe in God.
Yeah, creationist who doesn't believe in God. Yeah, well, that's that's what is that? Straw manning or whatever? I don't know. It's just bullshit. Spazwold. I'm a realist. That's probably the best word that fits it. And I have to have my evidence. I won't accept any crap you haven't got any sensorial proof evidence for. I'll just dismiss it as crap.
Yeah.
Like the Matrix, for example. There's no fucking such thing as a matrix. There's no such thing as aliens. When they get here, then I'll accept them. But until such time, they're not of any worthwhile for me. We don't have multiple universes. That's all bullshit. We only have the current universe and the one we live in. That's our experience. The amount of time spent on fucking crazy ideas is just unbelievable. Anyway, rock and roll.
You know, the type of people who believe that, you know, atheism is a Freemason conspiracy lie to attack Catholics and Christians or something.
Yeah.
No, not me. Atheism is, I don't know. You're all fucking believers in my book.
All started by Emperor Nero.
No, not my story. My story starts with Cyrus the Great when he took over the Persian, the Judaism, and I can prove that. And it just goes forward. And then Rome, the Flavian dynasty, were the ones that created Christianity. Well, Paul, the Pharisee, started the story, and then they took it over.
Who's somebody who Rob Beasley mentions in his book.
Oh, of course, talking about getting back to the book, at the very beginning, the thing that turned me right off was this Nostradamus thing.
No, it's interesting. I mean, anyone that read it would say, I'm not interested in that, and off they go, they move. But this guy says turned him off because he thinks that that gives him something to gaslight me. So let's see what he's got to say.
Oh, the Quatrain 14.
What? I don't know what the hell that was all about.
Well, read it and I'll tell you.
Because, you know, if he at least was going to introduce Nostradamus, a quote, then at least have some kind of a chapter devoted to who Nostradamus is.
No fucking way. I didn't write a book about Nostradamus. I just threw those things because I thought this is interesting, and you know, maybe someone might know something that I don't know. But like I said before, I don't really give a shit about it. It's not the way I live my life. So if prophecy was real, it's just that I found prophecy to be a fraud, and I knew how to explain that. So I had an argument that said this is why prophecy is crap, which you'd expect if there's no God, right? Because there's no God then talking to these prophets. That's the way it would work. Simple. But I couldn't explain away Nostradamus, and there were just some things about it that sort of had a context with our current world. So I thought I'd throw them in. That's all. No biggie. You don't like it? Just fucking tear that page out.
Yeah, I have no idea who this Nostradamus is. Or, I mean, I know that.
Bullshit. He's a fucking Jew, you know him. Well, Jewish Christian.
The name, but I have no idea what the history is.
Well, this just goes to show how uneducated Rob Beasley is, right?
Mm.
Have you heard of Ezekiel 23?
Yes.
No.
I'm not a big one for the Bible, and I don't really care about it, but there's some things I picked up from the Great Debate community, because obviously hearing religious people talking.
Geez, that Great Debate community, I'd love to get my hands on them and have a debate with them now. Fucking bet you they're a bunch of knobs.
About the Bible and atheists talking, you know, there's some of those hangouts where they want to discuss what's actually in the Bible rather than the relevancy of the Bible itself.
Right.
And
Boring.
chapter 23 of Ezekiel is the one with the two prostitute sisters.
No, cities, you dumbass.
One who is supposed to represent one line of Jews and another's that's supposed to represent like the other tribe of Jews.
No, it's two cities. And what they did is, as typical with these prophecies, because they're just tools with an agenda, what would happen is that the Jewish ladies would have been brutalized in the takeovers. I mean, the Assyrians and the Babylonians were fucking cruel people. Give you an example. There's a picture and it's on the net somewhere, but they used to get the Jewish people and they'd stick them on a skewer, a big spear, and then they'd sort of waltz around with that, I suppose, dead person by then, or probably still alive, I would imagine, for a bit. So it must have went up their rectum and, out through their head. So very barbaric lot. And so you could imagine people like that when they're taking over new territories. So I think it was about 140 odd years before the Babylonian exodus. The Assyrians took over the Jewish folks, and then the Babylonians owned them. But in those takeover bids, you can imagine, like most warriors, spoils of war, they get to rape and pillage. So what Ezekiel is about saying it's they're basically fucking letting the criminals off the hook. They're saying that God said it's okay, or because the women sinned, these marauding fucking emperors could go around and knock off all of these the Jewish ladies. So that's what it's about. But anyway, let's see what Mr. Smarty Pants comes up with.
These two, it's analogous. It's an allegory. It's not a literal story.
Well, we're on track somewhere, so you're reading it.
And
No, really?
He thinks it's what is it? He calls it. He says it's a Persian religious propaganda, and it's like that we hear the incredulous tale of two. I don't think he knows what incredulous means, but maybe I don't know. Where he's trying to use that.
He doesn't know a lot of things.
I do know lots of things. Incredulous. Yeah, whatever.
The incredulous tale of two Jewish sisters who were portrayed as prostitutes who lusted after Assyrian and Babylonian soldiers.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? It related to those Babylonian soldiers. So they're saying that the women basically are the cause for the fucking harm. And so this is God's word. Well, what really happened is that these marauding bloody emperors pillaged and raped. Right now, God's going to let them off the hook. Hello, 4 viewers. Just talking about Babylonian and Assyrian rapists and pillagers. Spazwold's got a different viewpoint. Go, Spazwold.
Hardly a likely story, though. It was designed to excuse the cruelty inflicted on the people of Judah when they were assaulted by the Assyrians and Babylonians.
Correct.
No, it's a description of God's anger at the Jews.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Is God real? Are you saying God's real?
For the way they're behaving, the way they're
Yeah, but historically, right, Spazwold, we know for a fact that the Assyrians were first to take over. So the Jews have been basically fucking slaves, I'm not joking, from that point right through to about 135 AD. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, they try and paint these stories about them being bloody rebels and, always fighting for survival and some sort of glorious story. That's absolute crap. They've just been slaves all that time. And, emperors do these things when they take over territory, they rape the women. So that's what the story's about. And it's designed to excuse those people and blame the Jews for that hardship. That's what, and think about it, Spazwold. Think about, does that happen in reality? My oath it does.
They're behaving with the Assyrians and the Babylonians, and that they're lusting over those times.
What can I make of this? What can I make of that?
And that's what it's about.
No. Oh,
It's just crazy.
Oh, really? What's your explanation, Schneider? Schneider, the rock spider?
But if you talk about his book, there's so many holes in it.
Oh, okay. Well, the way you do that, you read it, you let me have the bloody video, and then I'll give you my thing and we'll just see who's right. I'll back it in that I'm right.
That he might as well, instead of called it, in whatever the name is.
You know, Schneider, what is this thing called God? G-O in brackets O-D. I'm pretty sure you said it many, 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 many times. That's what he does. See, these little giveaways that this is a guy telling a fucking story that he's delusionally created in his head.
What is good, you might as well call it.
What is this thing called God? Good. Yeah, I remember now. You used to say, "What is this thing called good? Gold, gold." That's what you used to say, Schneider. So stop feigning your little delusional reality.
Swiss cheese.
So basically, this Persian guy, Cyrus the Great, gets the Zoroastrian Magi to make up fake biblical prophecy.
Correct. Well, someone anyway. Magi were part. He is a Zoroastrian, no matter what you think, because his son, when we look at him, he gets published as a Zoroastrian. If we go back prior to the Persian takeover, Zoroastrian is the Persian Empire's religion. In fact, I think there's some Astyages or someone like that. I think there was something in his story that connected the Zoroastrian stuff. But anyway, the bloody priest or his slaves or his labourers or whoever chiseled into the thing called the Cyrus cylinder. You can go and look at that online, and if you still fucking doubt it, go and visit the museum that it's stored in. It's a thing that comes from 539 BC, so we can date it precisely. And what these pricks did is they scammed cults of personality. That's all.
Invented monotheism by promoting Yahweh in the image of Cyrus.
Yes.
To the sole regal God of the universe.
Yes.
A fake God that would blame innocent Jewish shepherds for the atrocities inflicted on them by cruel and harsh Assyrians and Babylonians.
Yes, correct.
I mean, he's kind of going on the idea that a lot of atheists do, where it's like religion is somehow a conspiratorial tool of the evil, oppressive government.
Mm.
Well, no, you gotta take a fucking wider view, Spaz. There is an authentic spirituality. I mean, it's intertwined. What they do, where it goes off the rails, is when we create a creator God who we can't get our fucking hands on, and we can't touch it, we can't smell it or whatever. And we're given an afterlife scenario that if we're good people and we follow God's best friend on earth, then we get to go to heaven. If we're not good people, then we get to go to hell. Hell for eternity. Woogie, woogie, woogie. So that's where it goes wrong. And that model is used by empires to take a inequitable share of economic resources, and so they get all the money mostly, or it floats up to the top, and we lose in the bargain our spirituality. Our true spirituality is lost. All right, Spazwold, come on, move it along. Actually, I know what to do.
Oh, he started calling Benny Romo because obviously Benny's supposedly Romanian.
Yeah.
Romo. Oh, is that the pejorative?
What's that mean? Just call him Romo. It's a reference to homo as well. Now, homosexuality is fine. I don't have any issues. It's natural. I'm just messing with Benny. That's all. Speed you picks up a bit.
Is that a pejorative? Like a put down, a demeaning thing?
Yeah. Well, not really. It's a shot because I've decided that Romo, the prankster, is an egotistical little prick. He hasn't dealt with his ego. I give egos a slap in the nuts. That's all.
Like Indian for when he calls Bunto?
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, he's just not calling him Romo.
Romo. That's Benny. It's Romo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's calling him a Romo.
Yeah.
But why? Benny's Israeli.
Well, Benny claims to be Romanian.
Well, yes, he might be a Romanian, but he is Israeli. In other words, his parents, grandparents, everybody's from Romania, and he speaks perfect Romanian because they brought the language with them.
That's interesting. But then again, you don't know whether they're gaslighting you again, so you got to be careful, folks. So I'll keep that on memory. But he might. I don't give a shit about that because for me, there's only one race, the human race.
The reason I say that is because it fits into the realm of possibility. I lived in Israel for 3 years, and I know very well that those people speak at least, well, those that are children and grandchildren of immigrants speak the language of their grandparents, as well as, of course, the local language.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like he used to call Vlad or Trelawney or whatever you want to call him.
Mm.
He used to call him a Lebo because he was Lebanese.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Lebos call themselves Lebos.
Yeah, he's such a fucking racist.
See, now that he just gaslighted me. I'm the furthest fucking thing, and I've always been this way all my life. Used to bump into Aboriginals that people sort of walk around, but I really like the Aboriginal people. Actually, I like them a lot. I'm really pissed off with what we white Australians did to them. I love the Indian nation. Love anything to do with Indigenous stuff is really good for me. If anything, so I'm in my mind, there's only one race. It's the human race. If I've got a bias, it's egos. I fucking hate them. Hate them with a passion. Now, at the end of the day, they're nothing in reality. That's the absolute truth.
He is. He's a crotchety old man. He's a fucking. I mean, it's not just he comes from a time because with Australia, it's kind of weird. There is some stuff out there that sound very, very un-PC, but if you understand sort of the culture and the way it's meant, it's not quite how it sounds. It's like, for instance, here in England, the term "wog" is a really racist word, but in Australia, "wog's" not considered racist even by the people it's used against.
Yeah, it isn't. You call the wogs themselves will call themselves wogs. You don't run into any drama until some prick comes around and says, "Oh, that's racist," So, but yeah, and this political crack stuff, it's sort of like when you speak against the Jewish folks, they say that's anti-Semitic. Well, no, fucking listen to what I said. I'm critical of your behaviour. What was the other example that just came to mind? The Muslims, same deal. Islamophobic, or that's, they'll say that, if you have a crack at Islam, they'll say you're being racist. No, I just fucking hate Islam. I love Muslims. You're all fine, but I fucking hate with a passion Islam. That's all. No, not targeting the humans at all. And, when you see me it looks like I'm targeting an individual, just think about it for a minute and observe their behaviours, because I've picked up ego, and so I'm smacking their little egos around.
What describes these groups, the Greeks and sort of, Mediterranean Europeans, who went over to Australia during one of the big influxes of, you know.
Nah, see, he's posing again, fucking showing off. Look at all the things I know. You fucking don't know anything useful, Chaz. Some of the stuff that you think's fair income and useful or real is crap. And you talk a lot too.
Migrants from that area, and they got known as the wogs. And you know, even these people use a term to describe something Mediterranean as it being woggy.
Okay.
You know, there's this Australian comedian called Adam Hills. He was talking about the time when he was in Malta, and he overheard these two women who were obviously Maltese when they were, who were obviously from Maltese but growing up in Australia because, you know, they
Sure they weren't striptease?
had quite thick accents.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them says to the other one, you know, what are you going to get for Robbo, mate? He goes, and the other one goes, I don't know, you can't get him anything too woggy, he won't wear it. You know, that if you heard that here, that would be, oh my God, how can you say that there? And in the context of they use the word, it's different.
Right.
But that's not what, Rob can't use that excuse, that's not what's going on. He's, you know, I mean, it's not as bad as calling him a sandwich, nigger, but I mean, it's still the same vein of it.
I missed that. And I'll just leave it there.
I mean, you know, it is still a form of his racism.
Oh, it is. I'm embarrassed every time he opens his.
Oh, fucking bullshit. Furthest thing from racism. But again, this is how they're trying to profile. So what have we got so far? Trying to label me or hook me into a pedophilic ring, sexual predator, what else? Racist. Fucking hell. I'm not looking good. Now, this is what they've done, and this is the type of message that they broadcast across the internet. And there's a bunch of stuff too that's, you know, so people go look for Rob Beasley, Google it. All this crap comes up, you know. It's just not right. Hello, viewer number 4. Hope you're not Jim Barrick. If you know Jim Barrick, tell him he's an arsehole.
Fucking mouth now.
Oh no, I mean, this is the guy that's supposed to be enlightened. He regularly abuses people. He just makes stuff up. Like, for instance, he takes the fact that my username is Chaz Almighty.
Yeah, oh, every single time. Every single time.
No. It's easy. I've explained it a fucking 100 times. Just slapping your little egos in the nuts, that's all.
I've tried telling him. I tried to no. It's just that that was the name that I chose when I wasn't even making YouTube.
Yeah,
when I came to making it, that was the name that I ended up sticking with anyway.
Right.
And you know, it means.
I know. We all know the story, but he keeps on repeating the bullshit story over and over and over. Fuck.
Of course, I mean, it's right. When Dan used to be the bosom buddy,
Yeah.
and Dan was like, "Oh yeah, Chaz is fat," and then Rob started calling me fatty.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not telling a lie.
He's like, "Why don't you come on camera?" And all of that. They're trying to say that I'm ashamed of my body. That's why I don't come on camera. So no, I don't have the.
This is a guy who's enlightened and he's out to do good and to teach people how to be.
Yeah, but hang on a minute, right? Again, I'm slapping him in his ego, and he's got a fucking huge one. But I knew I didn't call him fat until I knew he was fat. Now, doing that is actually a bit of a caring thing to do, really, because he shouldn't be fat. He should deal with that issue. Part of he's got a young daughter. Hello, 5 viewers. He's got a young daughter, I think. So he needs to set the right standard and get off his fat little ass. So, but I knew it'd get under his skin. You got to remember, these people are telling really bad lies about me and who I am as a person. So, you know, slapping them in the ego nuts is really not a big deal.
Honest and positive, and look, you know, this is not a guy who tries to deflate your ego or bring it down or kick you in the balls, you know, smash your self-esteem.
Channel, right?
No. Self-esteem. Now, what is that? Self-esteem. Self-esteem. Don't like it. Because in enlightenment, there is no self-fucking esteem. We're all equal human beings. So there's no higher or lower classes or smarter or younger or male or female or fucking race this or race that. It's just all one thing for all humans. And these egotistical pricks don't like to hear that. So, more wanking from the Wank Patrol.
YouTube channel. There's a video of me, and I'm talking about this charity called Fuck Hate, and they were just out to try and make a fast buck off of this fucking social justice story of PC culture, and trying to use feminism and racism and stuff like that. They're the ones, I don't know if you saw it, they had these little girls dressed up as princesses using foul language to raise awareness of feminism and say, oh, this is what feminist looks like t-shirts.
No, I know nothing about
Yeah, look them up. They're a horrible, horrible, nasty bit of virtue signaling charity,
Spaz, he's not interested. Move on.
con ministry. It's horrible.
But old Spaz has got to say, look at me, look at what I know lots of shit. My little bucket's full of crappy, useless fucking information. Go, Spazzy.
I was talking about them, and they were doing this calendar of having all these, they're talking about obviously like, beauty standards and all of that sort of stuff, and,
He's not interested.
body positivity in one hand, and then they come to make this calendar of a bunch of men on it, and all of a sudden there's all of these, men.
He just wants to broadcast about Beasley. He can give a fuck about that stuff.
And of a single particular body type, muscular and athletic.
Oh, there you go. Jesus, Spaz, the things you know and the things you don't know.
All look like fucking David Beckham lookalikes. And, I make the point why there are no men of a larger size. And there's actually pictures of me just in my boxer shorts. So I'm not ashamed of my body at all. And I tried telling him that. Well, no, I can prove that what you're saying there is false.
Yeah.
Well, I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. You're fat. That's all. Just telling you how it is.
I mean, I bet you I'm more ashamed of my body than what's his name, Rob Beasley, is of his.
No, well, I just don't even think about it, mate. I just don't even think about it.
And yeah, but it's just like he won't stop repeating these lies for ages. Until he grows tired.
What lies? You're fat.
Of repeating the lies, it never stops.
Don't lie. Just tell it as it is.
Just like he'll never stop escalating. Like now he's seen him. He started off, he was just in hangouts by himself, and no one could join. And then people could join, and now he's joining other people's hangouts, abandoning the Rob's house, Rob's rules.
Yeah.
No, Sydney, you have to do it. Rob's house, Rob's rules. So,
Yeah, that didn't work out very well.
No. It's going actually well. When we get decent human beings in the room, the conversation flows well. It only fucks up when you egotistical pricks join in. So what's going to start happening is I'm going to start hanging out with these other decent dudes, try and give them a bit of an insight into light, and I'll listen to whatever they're banging on about, and just take a bit of breath of fresh air. Rome wasn't built in a day, apparently.
I can stop you from broadcasting your gaslighting behaviours.
Jeez.
And, I ain't afraid of you, fatty Spazbold. I'll take you in.
And then he starts laughing.
Well, I ain't. Never have. Go and watch that Bulldog porno and see how those boys impact on me when I call him out for being a pedo. Go and have a look at it. Pay attention. Look at the detail.
Every time he starts giggling at his own little jokes.
You know what's funny? He says that he's not afraid of fatty Spazbold. Well, you'll hear later on when I join this hangout, yeah? Right? I haven't even talked, and already like, oh my God, a minute, because this guy's here, he fucking panics.
Well, that's right. It's because you bullshit on. And I just don't want to waste my time, I know all about you, Spaz, the whole fucking story. You just go over it and over and over and over and over again. So I'm not interested, that's all. And I know that you're a bit of a prima donna and you just want to be center stage and yada, 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 yada.
Can I into the room?
Yeah.
Anyway, play the hangout, otherwise we hear fucking ever. You might as well let Rob Beasley tell us his own words.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know what I think that really is? A video that we got from one of the people in this room, John Goodall,
See, deflection.
Are you know, so he's trying to emphasise John May's name, John May.
No, I think it's bloody them watching me, watching them. Because when was this one done? That's 4 hours ago, so all right, maybe they're not.
He's told people his own name.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to.
He's just being a cunt, is what he's doing. And wants to do.
Sydney, 70-year-old arsehole. Don't speak like that. Set a good example for your little friend Spazwold.
Preach the truth, or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Truth is the best. It's the truth, Sydney, that sets you free. And Sydney, I'll remind you again. I'll keep reminding you. Time's a ticking, my friend, and it's going to be over soon, and you never come back. Yada yada yada. So you can try your Kabbalah, but I don't think it'll do you any good. You may as well smoke a cabana.
I noticed too how one guy's doing all the talking, so this is almost a script for me. The other one's sitting down, saying nothing. I mean, if you're having a discussion on a topic, I would have feel comfortable buying the discussion, but that's not what's happening. We've got a gap.
Sorry, viewers, but the volume is pretty crappy.
Gaslighting agenda. So on the gaslighting, go Google gaslighting, you'll find that one of the components of it is this elaborate setup. No, but there's lots of them. So it's very much designed to be psychological attack. Easily, I hope you know, but breaking the psychological. Just not possible. That's what happens.
That's right. That's me saying that. You cannot psychologically break me. Absolutely impossible. That's because of this enlightenment phenomenon. And the reason is it's not complex. It's nothing fancy or nothing to brag about or whatever. But what it is that you found the truth. So that, you know, they say in all the classics, know thyself, seek until you find, all that sort of stuff. When you find the answer, you reign over all. Now that doesn't mean that you become a king and any of that sort of shit. It just means that you understand how things work and you know it with great conviction. When you have such a conviction, it can't be broken. It's not possible. Maybe they could torture me or something. I might say, okay, I believe what you're saying. But when I get out of the room, I'll go back to my own way. So that's what I'm banging on about there.
Now, if anyone knows it better, what we need for a money, but that better, they'll know the type of person he is. He's not this compassionate, socially minded.
Yeah, so that's Batter. He's one of these gaslighters. I tried to get him into a room, but the prick wouldn't come. And this is typical of these people. They're cowards. They want to have that control. They're nothing without that control. Absolutely nothing. Worthless pieces of... No, they're human beings, but they're absolutely nothing without that control. And that's why they won't come into a room with me, hang out. But yet they'll try and cajole me as much as they try to get me into a room. That's what they want, because then they can start broadcasting and, their lies, etc. And then they'll try and block me in my defense. So, but ask them to come into a room with me. They're as scared as all get up. I'm not joking. Fucking cowards. Well, what that tells me too is it tells me definitively that they know they do wrong. They know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they do wrong, but they still persist in doing it.
Psychological attacking person, that's who he really is. Same as Lockhart. It's all like saying it's down corner. If you think I'm wrong, I've got videos on most of it. City as well, I've got City. Don't know if I've got Rust. You're honest, you'll be exposed. And another thing, take note. Here I am, I'm on my own, right? One. There's probably about 20 of them now.
That's me running. I'm just wondering where they're getting this stream from.
But do you not see that difference?
No, Rob, you just didn't learn from the Nazis. Are trying to find a war on multiple fronts.
Hey, very good.
20 people, it's not 20 versus 1. It's 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1.
Right.
It's you versus.
That's now that's a fizz. That's a fizz right there. There's two people in this room, Spazwold and Chazwold. Spazwold and Schneider. There's plenty of videos that I've got of them sitting as a group talking about me. So that's just a blatant, obvious lie.
It's 21s in 20 different matches.
Yeah, exactly. Except we're a cartel. In order for his theory, in order for his story to be sort of possible or to be sort of thought of as a sane alibi, we have to be a cartel. We have no choice.
But we're a cartel.
Well, look, we don't need to have 10, or I think it's probably about 20 now, 20 or growing. But we only need this evidence that's sitting here right now. 2 fucking nutters sitting in a room, listening in on my comments. So there's at least 2. At least 2.
Except,
Yes.
I don't like down corner and having blocked because
Exactly.
I don't engage with it.
No, that's right, because the reality is there's no cartel, but he. Yeah.
Well, of course.
I got a video to show you.
I don't like Mark Noya. I don't talk to him.
Uh-huh.
There's loads of people.
No, I didn't say Mark Anoia. It's just that, you know, when you were all in full flight, the whole lot of you bloody ganged up on me. You got your own little communities. But it doesn't matter. It only matters if I get two of you people ganging up on me, that's a cartel. Now, we've got plenty of videos, more than you, and you repeat offenders. You can't help yourself.
On G Plus that don't like me, I don't like them.
Right.
You know, we've had our differences. Like, you know, people have ended, you know, G Plus is quite a close knit community, and there was people falling out with people all the time, and sides would get drawn, and you'd have to pick sides. And you know, you end up drifting away from certain people.
Yeah, exactly.
People I don't need to talk to because I don't want to, or I just don't really ever see about anymore.
Yeah. Hey, boys, think about this. Just give it some thought. There's a fucking block button. There's a block button, right? Use it. Use the block button. If you don't, then we know that you're guilty.
And but no, we're apparently all a cartel, even when some
Yes, you are.
of us don't like each other.
I mean, I banned Benny. He knows it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Benny's part of the cartel. Benny's a bad guy.
We just happen to all know each other. The problem he doesn't understand is that we'll end up, he'll do something crazy, and he'll do it online, he'll do it publicly. And somebody will say, just like they do with G-Man, or just like they do with any of the other idiots that pipe up on Scooper Tubes. They'll be like, oh, did you hear the dumb thing that this guy said? No, what did he say? Oh, he was in a hangout the other day, fucking coming out with this and saying, you know, the fallacies are important. So when you're trying to discern reality, oh, what a fucking numptus can that is.
Well, they ain't. They're useless.
No, you know what it is? G-Man, Matt Bell, Revelation News, all these guys who are pumping up Christianity, we all got so fucking sick.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, with Rob Beasley explains it, isn't
We got the trolls annoying me.
just like, oh no, it's God. He's invented this whole new religion.
Exactly. No, this guy's psychology too.
It's already been debunked 101 times.
You know what? This world is such crazy that it's quite possible to get a following and become like somebody's guru.
Oh God, could you imagine that?
Hey, Rob, I got a business idea, but I want 50% of the profits. Spread your ideas in India. There's enough people there. There's enough people there for if you get 0.001% of the population following you.
Well,
You've got a fucking lot of people.
Do you know what else says that he had a depression phase led to a manic moment when it came to his birth? Right? You know, he's got his declaration to my darling wife, thank you for your love, patience, and understanding. And to our dear children, I hope world peace will be achieved in your lifetime, and we're not going to pay you, yeah? But when you scroll down, and he's talking about how he came to write the book, he says this book, yeah, he goes, as you're about to find out, I can give you a logical, even though I don't understand fallacies, and consistent explanation as to why all Bible prophecies are clearly frauds, something that will come as a shock to the scholarly world. When half the things he uses is from Wikipedia, so obviously it's the opinions of the scholarly world.
Right.
And
Well, all of the links are there. Go to the bloody footnotes, click on the footnotes, read the books. Wikipedia is an extremely efficient way of getting through a shitload of information. I don't care what you say.
You know, he was saying the majority of scholars agree that there was a real Jesus.
Correct. And then he said, this prick comes up and says, that's a fallacy. No, what is it? A fallacy against authority, which is absolute crap. The majority of people that actually study the Jesus story or are engaged in the historicity of Jesus, so these are the scholars, they spend a lot of time on it, they do it well, they're professional people. The majority of that particular group, and even the ones that don't agree that Jesus existed, say that the majority take that position. That's in the books of Price and a couple of others, and it's all in the footnotes. Yep, okay. It's in the footnotes, so that is hard. That is a great deal of evidence. But beyond that, there's another 3 or 4 elements that you can use to tie in the historicity of Jesus. But even beyond that, there's another thing. It's this gospel of Jesus sayings and the way that that's structured, the way that it relates to the synoptic gospels, and the order which they connect in. So there's a bunch of things that really, I'm 100% convinced that the guy was real. But anyway, Spazwold won't have it because he's an atheist and a mythicist.
This is theology scholars. And it's a quote from a book by a guy who disagrees with the fact that there was a historical Jesus. And that's why he's saying, you know, I believe this. The majority of other scholars in the theology field don't agree. But Rob doesn't have the ability to understand these things when he comes to make these claims. Right.
What are you talking about? That's all bullshit, whatever you said there. We can go and check that out anytime, Spazwold. I'm right, you're wrong.
So what I'm thinking...
He says he wrote this book significant risk to his family's financial future. Yeah, he didn't work for some 20 years.
Blah, blah, blah.
In researching
poor me, says Rob. I got an idea. I don't want to keep these things going, these segments to be more longer than an hour. And we're coming up to an hour now, and I have to take my dog out. So what I'm going to do is go offline and continue when I get back in. Would that work for you?
You take another break?
Basically, yeah. I'm just going to stop this particular stream.
Oh, and take a break. So we just go quiet for 5 minutes, and then you start up a new one.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to take a break. Thank you for watching, viewers. If you're a gaslighter, get your shit together and stop it.